Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome to what are we on here? I don't even know. Fifth episode of the Coronavirus Happy Hour show. So it's been about a week straight now we've been doing this. It's Taco Tuesday. I don't have any tacos, though. But hopefully you do with your happy hour beverage of the evening. Tonight, somewhere around 7 o'clock, we're going to have Luke join us. He's going to give us a little bit of I don't know, some spiritual healing, I guess. Talk about how we deal with stress and mindfulness and yoga and stretching and all that kind of fun stuff. So he's going to join us somewhere just before 7 o'clock or so. Right now, I'm going to bring in Maddie Mall. What's up, Maddie?
Yep. How you guys doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine, just fine. I had some not so hot news today from work. So I actually started my happy hour a little early. You can see my drink is already halfway gone. I'm not sure. You got a beverage over there, Matt?
Yeah. Got my typical.
Well, yeah, you're more than halfway gone too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add a couple of people into the stream. Thanks again, everyone who's watching. Please click on the link. I'm going to actually stream it across the ticker along the bottom here as well. But click on the link that's on our YouTube channel or on the Facebook the Facebook group to be able to join in on the conversation. We like talking to you. Without you, this is not a community. Speaking of community, we have our regular Shannon today. Hello.
Hello.
I thought you said Wednesday.
Yeah, I thought you said she wasn't able to join us tonight.
I might have to drop off if I get a work call, but if not, I'm gonna stay on as long as I can.
Okay, great. What are you drinking tonight? Anything?
Right now I'm drinking seltzer, but I'm gonna get up and go make Shannon fashion.
Shannon fashion. Oh well, when you make that, we need to learn what's in the Shannon fashion.
Yes.
I just decided that since I've been alone for so long, I just need to change it from old fashioned to Shannon fashion. So
well, Shannon's not that old, so.
So I will be back. So you can excuse me for a few minutes if you want.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I'm going to add one other person in. This is Eric. What's up, buddy?
Yo.
What's up, Bob?
To go to the bathroom?
Yeah, she went to go get a Shannon fashion.
Wow.
We've got a couple other people joining in too.
Isn't the Shannon fashion just 3 old fashions?
What's that?
Shannon fashion just 3 old
The
fashions.
Shannon fashion is a regular old fashioned. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
3 old fashions. Yeah, right. No, it's 3 old fashions in a Manhattan, I think is what it is. Hi, Heather. How are you?
Hey, peeps. How are you?
Good. I love that we have a nice international group today. We also have Alon, who's a friend of mine who I work with in some of my IT consulting work, who is also over.
Hi, guys.
Alon, Heather's in Holland. Right?
No,
Oh,
Poland.
hey.
Poland, Holland. What's the difference?
Same difference.
Jeez, Rob.
I'm just kidding. Did you know that my worst subject in school was geography?
Apparently.
Actually, social studies, if you want to be accurate.
Not surprising.
Yeah, social studies was the class that made me like 8th grade so nice I did it twice. So how are things, Alon? How are things in the UK?
It's all right. It's all right. You know, we are in confinement, as you probably know. So I'm based in the UK at the moment. So officially, that's the start of the 2nd week of confinement. Me and my girlfriend have done an extra week just before that. We've been following the advice from the French government. So when they got themselves in confinement, well, we decided, yeah, it's not that far. Let's do that too. So we're starting our 3rd week now.
Yeah, I think I'm in my 3rd week as well. I'm not sure. I started just a few days early because I had a little minor surgery that was done. And so I was kind of at home confined to myself for a few days before the official start of confinement. But yeah, this is 3 weeks out of, I think we're going to be doing like 3 months. I don't know. It looks like Shannon might have gotten Shannon fashion back.
I'm back.
So
My couch is
what's
green.
that? I was just going to ask
saying my
that.
couch is 3 weeks old and it already has permanent ass prints in the middle of
That's
All right, then.
So, Heather, what's
Ryan, are you
the
delivering
latest
drinks?
news over in Poland? And wait, what are you drinking tonight? You got water or do you have a beverage?
I have water,
I know, it's
unfortunately.
late again. I know.
But
It's
I
hard to
know,
have happy
it's
hour with our
midnight. I'm
friends
just
over on the
checking
other side of the pond because it's midnight.
I know, but if we did this like about 4 hours earlier, we could, really check in.
Yeah, we should, maybe we'll do Sunday. Maybe we'll do Sunday brunch this week.
Or Saturday, huh?
Or Saturday brunch. Sure. Maybe we'll do both. I'll be sitting in the house. I won't have anything to do. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
So what's new over there today? I heard today you had said earlier you guys got put on a little bit of an additional lockdown, or what's going on?
We are shut down. Like, we can't go out. We can't do anything. So
Yeah,
I'm just hanging.
store anymore.
No, like they put this they put the kibosh down. So we can't do anything.
Well, thank God you went to the store last night.
Well, I went to store last night. I went to store tonight, and it was like, no, we're done.
For how long?
Till 11th, till Easter Saturday.
So what if you don't have food?
Well, no, you could get out tonight, and you can still go out for food, but they're basically shutting it down because we've hit 2,000, and they're like, no, we're done, and I'm like, okay, we're done.
wow.
Yeah. So they're not messing around here.
Are the restaurants and pubs open over there for takeout? Like takeout food, takeout beer?
You can take out, but they've kind of like slowly leveled it down and stuff. But you can take out.
Okay.
How about for you, Alana? Are restaurants still open for takeout or anything?
No, restaurants are closed. Any pubs? Yeah. So that was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, Friday, they announced around 5 p.m. That pubs should be shut, restaurants should be shut. So that was a bit of a shock because Friday night obviously is the big night in the UK. And ever since, they've shut any non-essential shop. So anything that goes from hairdresser for the ladies, nail salons, clothes shops of any sort. So anything that is not health. So pharmacies open, hospitals, obviously, supermarkets. All the other shops are closed. You may have an off license here and there that sells a bit of booze and food. These are still allowed to be open. The other thing that is still open is petrol stations, but all the rest they've shut. Anyways, they've got no custom anyways.
Are they giving you a hard time to going out? Like you're still allowed to go out for like exercise or things like that?
So what they've said in the UK is that you're allowed to go shopping and you need to minimize the number of times that you go shopping. So that means that you go once a week, possibly once every fortnight. You would get queues and people being, filtered in and out as well. So you have a set number of people that can be in a shop at a certain time. And going out, you're allowed to go out once a day for one period of exercise.
Wow.
That's it. So you're not allowed to take your car to walk your dog somewhere nice, for instance, and so on and so forth.
Where are you? Where are you in UK?
So I'm in Reading.
Okay, okay.
So
I've been
that's
living in Essex,
west of London.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's where it is. In France, I know that they've been more restrictive. So, for instance, in the UK, you get a £30 fine if you do not obey. For instance, in France they're even more restrictive. So not only you've got nationwide laws that have been put in place with something like $200 or 200 euros fines, but some towns would actually fine you if you go, for instance, to the baker's and buy one piece of bread. So you're not allowed to buy one, and come every single day. You buy 5, 6, 7, you freeze them, and that's it. You have a ceasefire in the south of France, so all the area between Cannes and Italy is under ceasefire. So there is no right to movement between 22 hours to 5 in the morning. That's it. So if you're being caught, then oops. And that's regimented by the police and the army and all that stuff.
Wow.
And you've got even drone flying, in towns with speakers, ordering people just to come back home and so on and so forth.
Oh yeah, I thought I saw a video of that. There was a drone somewhere that was like the police telling people to go home.
Yeah, that was in Nice. That was in Nice, probably.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it hasn't gotten that crazy here. And it's weird that it hasn't gotten that crazy here because, I hate to admit it, but, I needed to go to the liquor store the other day. And so I went to another state, to Delaware. It's only 30 minutes away. And they have a liquor store here. It's like the size of a grocery store. It's
like Costco.
Huh?
Like Costco almost.
It's like Costco for liquor. It was insane. And the thing that was funny was I find when I'm in the grocery store, I'm walking down the aisles, I'm looking around, and the shelves are empty. I was walking down the aisles of this liquor store, and they were packed. There was no shortage of liquor anywhere. The other thing
that I need to go there.
Where are you? Where are you exactly?
I'm outside of Philadelphia in a town called King of Prussia.
Yeah, I know King of Prussia. Okay.
Okay, so that's where I am. And I went down to Delaware to one of the liquor stores down there.
Yeah, but why didn't you stay home? Why are you gone? Or is it for a tax?
Well, I mean...
So they're closed in Pennsylvania.
They're closed in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And it's an essential item? I don't know.
Okay, so you're going to Delaware because there's nothing.
Because there wasn't any. There's nothing open here. I know.
And get in the liquor store.
Yeah, my friend Justin actually has coronavirus, and he might join us later. He's been on a couple of times. If he heard that story, he would not be happy with me.
He would, he would kill you.
Jack.
Yeah. I don't know. So partially because of that, and I don't know. I don't know how human beings are going to survive 3 months of indoor seclusion. It's like everybody has been put in jail, and so far it's been okay. There hasn't been a whole lot of unrest, but in another month, I don't know how human beings are going to do it. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Well, but they also haven't instituted fines or anything like that here. And in Pennsylvania, it's not every county is locked down. It's county by county.
Where are you right now, Rob?
Right now, I'm in my apartment in King of
No,
Prussia.
but where? What county? What town are you?
Montgomery County and in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Yeah.
Montgomery County is one of the
you were
counties on lockdown. What's that, Alon?
You were mentioning about the unrest. Apparently, from the news that we got here in the UK, there has been unrest in Italy, in the south of Italy. So people have been out of work for 3 weeks. They've got no money left. So they're actually going in shops and, looting.
Oh, is there looting that's begun? I saw a video where the guy was basically pleading for food because he had no money and nothing to eat. That's the stuff. That's when it's going to get. That's when it's going to get bad. I mean, I'm hoping it doesn't get to that point, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, at least just the shops now have restocked because there was that huge rush just before the lockdown. People were buying stupid amount of toilet paper. I mean, stupid amounts, and shops got literally raided. You've got the big superstores, they've been literally empty, places like Costco that got any sort of food, you would find, empty shelves, one after the other. So now they've been putting some restrictions on the amount that you can buy. So, for instance, you cannot buy more than three pieces of meat. So you buy chicken, some sort of brisket and whatever, bacon or whatever, and that's it. Three items of each max, and a maximum of 2 for things that are considered to be critical. So any hand gels, wipes, antibacterial wipes or disinfectant like bleach or anything of the kind, that would be limited to 2. So, interesting.
That's
but,
I mean,
at the same time, it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think that we've restocked yet. At least not the last time I was there. Although I did see somebody post something who lives in my building, who said, that the local grocery store Wegmans must have just restocked because they saw people coming home with the 24-pack rolls of toilet paper, like lugging them down the street because it's walking from here.
I literally got one the other day. I just happened to walk in for groceries for other things, and I walked down the toilet paper aisle, and I got a 12-pack, not 24. But I was like, bonus. So.
How many people are in your house? So how many people are in your house? How many do you need?
It's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just bought it because I don't know when it's going to be available again. I wasn't hoarding.
Yeah. I went through last week. I had bought one right before this hit because I saw this coming. I bought like a 12-pack, and I had at the time it had my daughter here, but I got the 12-pack, and then I was at the grocery store, and they just started to restock them, and I saw it there, and it was weird because like something inside of me like picked it up, and then I walked for like 5 feet, and I was like, I don't need this. Like, why can't I put it right back? Because I still have 11 rolls left. Like, and I'm a guy. Like, for a girl, it's a different story. We, you use it a little bit more often than men do. But
but how many do you need?
Huh?
How many do you need? Like,
I live by myself, and my daughter's not with me. She's in quarantine with her mother. So
yeah, but you also poop a lot. So
what's that?
You what?
I said he also poops a lot.
Yeah, but I don't need to use it every time I go. I don't drip yet.
Rob does sit down when he pees, but that's not it.
What's that?
I know, but
I said Rob does sit when he pees, but that's about it.
Yeah, I don't sit when I pee. Yeah.
Well, you sit down a bit. Never mind.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say, Heather?
I know, but how many do you guys need? I mean, you need like a roll.
I mean, a roll. How often? I mean, a roll should last.
I don't know.
2 weeks, maybe a week, 2 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never done the roll to day mathematics. I guess it depends if I'm eating more bananas and cheese versus drinking. I don't know.
Just get a bidet.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's funny. I actually got a bidet, but you can't install it in the apartment, so it was a kind of a waste of time. But yeah, they haven't done kind of fines or lockdowns here just yet.
So I got a toilet paper story. I like use it to blow my nose or like take my makeup off, and I'm like, I gotta stop.
Yeah, I actually
invest in that.
Tissues.
Yeah, they did have tissues, so I did buy 1 pack of tissues just so I have a backup because it's allergy season for us, and so between the cold, I'm weird. When it's cold, my nose runs, and when the allergies hit, my nose runs. So I do need tissues. But I did debate that. Like, I better get tissues so I don't need toilet paper. These are the weird things that, like, when did we ever think we would have to think about, like, making these decisions? Like, a month ago.
I've got 2 interesting facts for you guys.
Yeah, hit me.
So the first fact is that the UK is importing all its toilet paper and has literally 1 day worth of stock of toilet paper for the whole of the UK.
Yeah, I've heard this.
The second fact is that with the shortage of toilet paper, the British have resorted to alternatives, baby wipes. And baby wipes being thrown, obviously, in the toilet is not really good for the environment or the sewer system.
Yeah.
So now the government is advising, and towns are advising against that because they're going to get fatbergs. So fatbergs are blockage. And the latest they found in London was the size of 17 double-decker buses. And that has to be removed manually.
Ew, that's a shitty job.
Yeah.
Shitty job. Yeah.
Well, there's
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it
a
is.
friend of mine is a
So,
plumber.
pretty bad. So, two interesting facts. So,
Wow.
interesting there.
Huh.
Another thing that came into shortage, now I'm thinking about it, was at first ibuprofen. That was short because people were just jumping on that. And as soon as they
Wait, on what?
said that ibuprofen,
Okay.
right, painkillers,
Yeah.
and government said, no, ibuprofen is not good for you guys. Resort to paracetamol. The next day, no paracetamol anywhere.
Yeah, and all the Americans have just stopped because they have no idea what paracetamol
No,
is.
I actually know what paracetamol is, although
No.
I only know it because of my time in Italy. And paracetamol is better than what we have here.
But we don't know what it is as Americans, and I'm just saying it as American because paracetamol is not a normal American thing. Like we have ibuprofen.
You know what paracetamol is, don't you?
As an American living in Britain, yes, I do. But normal Americans don't know what paracetamol is.
No, normal Americans do not know what paracetamol is.
No, we know what ibuprofen is and maybe aspirin. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Paul, do you know what paracetamol is? Or the wolf, as I should call you? I don't even know if he can hear us. Can you hear us?
You look scary.
He does look scary. Are you going to say hi, Paul, or no?
Gary!
Gary. Paul, do you know what paracetamol is?
No.
No. Okay. It's like better than aspirin. But I don't know. I've heard it's the same as aspirin. Elan, do you know? Is it the same or different?
Well,
Paracetamol.
no. So there's two things: aspirin and paracetamol. Ibuprofen is in the same category as aspirin, if you will. So if you're taking aspirin, you should not use ibuprofen at the same time. However, because normally there's a 4-hour gap that you need to take, so it's either one or the other. Now, if you're also using paracetamol, you can take one every 2 hours. So you take aspirin or ibuprofen. 2 hours after, you can take a paracetamol, and then 2 hours after, you can take another aspirin or something like this.
Yeah, well, they're also saying that ibuprofen is something you should avoid if you get the coronavirus.
Yes. And the reason why they're saying that, from what I understand, is that it's preventing your body from having fever, and fever is being one of the prime response for the body to combat viruses.
It's also an anti-inflammatory, and kind of need inflammatory is kicks in your
to trigger your body defense. Well, I'm not a doctor or anything of that kind, anyways.
And they're okay with Tylenol.
Well, Tylenol must be there must be a molecule behind it. That's Tylenol is the brand, so the molecule behind it is either paracetamol or it's going to be ibuprofen or aspirin or something of the kind.
What did you? I don't know. I'm not. I know there's Tylenol, aspirin, and all the NSAIDs.
NSAIDs, yeah, that's ibuprofen. Yeah,
that's all I know.
Yeah. So, Paul,
and they all work for a hangover. I know that.
They all work for a hangover. This is true. Water works for a hangover, but I don't drink water. So Paul is also self-employed. So Alon, Heather, you're still kind of working from home, but he's in that group of people that is been forced by the government to not work.
Right.
And Paul, how have you been doing? Either, well, mostly mentally. Now that because Paul's one of those guys who moves around and works outside a lot, so now he's kind of quarantined at home. How are you doing? Yeah.
Not good.
Why is that? What are you doing?
He has really bad.
No.
Oh yeah. Well, no, he got his internet fixed. I think he got his internet fixed. This was his test. He got a new internet
Yeah.
connection today.
I can't tell if it's coming through clear or not.
Yeah, you're coming through perfectly fine today. You just have to talk, and then we can hear you.
Tell us a joke.
Like,
Okay, well, Paul's not entertaining us tonight. So
I see Matt's drinking.
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
It's happy hour. We're
It's happy
here,
hour.
Paul.
So I do know there's a common theme, and everybody I talk to at work, during the day, they're like, "Oh, I'm a little hungover today," and they're like, "Me too." Everybody is drinking every night, just a little more than usual, and it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Alternating, but
I'm doing that, and then I'm also staying up late and then not able to fall asleep. So my sleep has actually gone down, even though I have no excuse. It's pretty bad. How about you, Alon? Are you sleeping the same or drinking anymore, or how are you keeping yourself busy?
Well, I don't drink that much anyways. On a normal basis, usually, I drink once a week, on Friday nights with my friends. Rest of the week I don't actually drink because for me it's more of a social thing than anything else. But having been working from home for years, I'm kind of used to that. I don't need necessarily to go out, although knowing that it's not allowed to have free movement outside, it's what keeps in the mind. So that's the painful part. So I keep myself busy, I've got my IT projects and stuff like this, just TV. I've got loads of films and stuff like this. I keep in touch with friends that are stuck at home as well. So,
Yeah.
Just in I would say it's fine for the moment. It's just been starting at the third week, so I can't really complain.
Yeah.
Really.
Working from home.
Girlfriend. Yeah, the girlfriend is finding it more difficult because she goes to work every day. So although I've installed her in my office, she's got everything she needs. She sort of craves going outside and breathing fresh air because she's used to do that, and shopping and God knows what. So she finds it more difficult. So for the moment, just it's all right. Just we're not shouting at each other's or even throwing things at each other. However, from what I've heard, from places like France where people have been stuck home for more, there's an increase in how shall I say that, domestic violence. Unfortunately, as despicable as this is, it's a fact. So I guess that people just having to get stuck with their husbands or wives, and having to make acquaintance with them, more than a 2 hour per day or 3 hour per day, is taking its toll.
I'm curious if we're going to find more divorces or more pregnancies.
Well, all done on that one. Just divorces for sure. Pregnancies,
Absolutely.
I guess, when they will run out of condoms. Yeah, I guess so.
It'll be.
I'm going to ask real quick. What is your native language?
My native language, French.
Yeah. From where exactly?
I was born in Paris and I've lived in the south of France.
Okay. I'm just being nosy. Sorry.
It's all right. Just people call me the crazy Frenchman. So, hey.
Yeah, when I read your post in French, I hate that I have to click translate to understand what the hell you're saying, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey,
That's not a problem. So you said you know a couple of people outside the country too that are.
Yes. So the rest of my family and my girlfriend's family are in France. So there, the situation is a little bit more critical than it is in the UK. The constraints are much harder. My mother is actually in Tunisia at the moment, where the spread of the virus is not as big. However, Tunisians, which is in North Africa for you guys that are poor in geography.
Thank you.
Those tend to be a little bit more promiscuous and a little less disciplined when it comes to following recommendations or order. So
is she doing all right? I mean,
but
is
she's
she there on vacation or visiting family or?
Well, my mother spends some time over there in my flat, so for vacation. So she's stuck over there at the moment because she can't go back to France. There's no flights anymore. There's no boats or anything. But she's fine. She's fine. I'd rather have her in Tunisia because for the moment it's the winter season, so there's not a lot of tourists. Actually, there's none, and where she is, it's mainly hotels and beach resorts and stuff like this, and there's no one. So I'd rather have her over there than in France with the constraints and being isolated where she is in France. Yeah, not good.
Yeah, well, this is the first time I learned you have a flat in Tunisia, so I will take you up on that offer. Time.
Yeah, really.
Somewhere.
Well, you're welcome to share the flat with my mother.
I'm
she'll feed
talking
you
about
well.
when she goes back to France, but I just need to wait for the right time to buy airfare while it's cheap, but know when you'll actually be able to take off and go anywhere.
I just saw though, because I got an email and it was like, 200 return to JFK from London.
Round trip or?
Yeah, return. Round trip. Yeah.
How much?
200
But
pounds.
Can you book it for like a couple of like July or August?
Yeah, when's the Eagles play over there again?
Yeah, it's absolutely peak, and I was like, really? And I know it's not a good time right now, is it?
Yeah.
Well,
that's probably why they put those prices.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
nobody wants to be in New York right now. But
I know, but I can come up and back for 200 pounds. Good God.
Yeah, so
I'll buy 3 flights and just do it across the seasons. When I was in London, it was October. It wasn't that bad out, but I would love to be there when it's a little bit warmer.
I know, but they're putting it out there now, and I assume it's because Delta doesn't have a lot of money, or people don't have a lot of money, so
they need cash flow.
I wonder if you can
exactly.
you book it for later on in the summer, or was it only? I mean, are they even flying still internationally? I don't even know if there's any flights right now.
It was in the last few months, so
yeah, I'll have to look into that because now's the time. That's the problem. Airfare is low. Gas or petrol is super cheap here in the U.S. right now, but we can't really go anywhere. What you said, Matt, have you gotten gas recently?
Who, me?
Yeah, did you say
Oh, no, I was trying to join in on flight conversation.
Well, join in on the flight conversation.
I'm just saying, so you go to Florida, Usually it's a $200-$300 flight. It's looking at $40 right now.
It's super cheap. It's stupidly cheap.
Roxanne and I booked a flight to Nashville, there and back for $80 for both of us.
Who is that with, sir?
Southwest, I believe.
Southwest, yeah.
Southwest is great anyway. Like, I always use them. They don't charge any change fees ever or cancellation fees.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they fly internationally or not. But I am a big fan of Southwest.
No, I love Southwest as well.
Would that be because of the ghost flights that they have it so cheap? In Europe, for instance, you have what we call ghost flights. So there are flights that actually fly empty back and forth.
No.
They do that to keep their slots.
Yeah, it's deadhead flight. As pilots call it.
No, but normal Southwest flights are that is what it is.
Yeah, Southwest is one of the discount airlines.
Yeah.
So
Really?
It's kind of like Ryanair.
You think they're
What's
just?
Sorry?
You think Southwest is discount? I mean, I don't think they're JetBlue or Spirit or.
yeah, they're not JetBlue or Spirit, but they're still discount, aren't they? I mean, you still got to pay for your bags, don't you?
You
I
don't.
mean, I guess you have to pay for your bags on American and
Everything, right?
Yeah, I just don't consider them discount because I don't think. I just think they just do things differently. I think they're niche. I think they're more of a niche airline than a discount. Like Frontier, Spirit, and JetBlue are the discount, in my opinion.
Frontier and who?
Spirit and JetBlue.
JetBlue. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Heather, what are you going to do with your downtime now that you have?
I'm teaching.
You're still teaching?
Yeah. My Monday is like absolutely slammed, and it's I don't know. It's 20 to 1 here, so I'm still okay because I don't teach before 9. But I'm teaching every day of the week, and I'm paid, so no, I'm not. You know.
I just I'm curious what the job market looks like out there right now. I mean, I think that in certain sectors, it's probably trash. I think in some sectors it might be good. So one of my specialties in technology is in learning. And I bet you that in the learning space, especially technology-based learning space, there's probably some work out there for that. Although a lot of that distance learning stuff is just, I don't know, my daughter's now using it for school, and they crashed the system yesterday.
How old's your daughter?
She's 11. She's in 5th grade.
Yeah.
So, you're using Zoom, right, Heather?
Yeah, I'm using Zoom. And
Yeah.
I'm using corporate Zoom, so it's all good.
You haven't had anybody Zoom bomb any of your sessions, have you?
No, because I've got corporate Zoom, so like my company has the Zoom, so I have to let people in from the waiting room.
Okay.
In the waiting room, so I have to let you in before you can join my class. So and stuff. I mean, it's okay.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's better than.
As a matter of curiosity.
Yeah.
As a matter of curiosity, what do you do to keep your students in? Because France, for example, 3 weeks in, they've lost 5% of students.
Say again?
I'm asking, what do you do to keep your students interested? Because in France, for instance, 3 weeks in the quarantine, they've lost 5% of students. 5%.
My students are like super high, to be fair. So in a CFR level, they're like kind of B1, B2, and I give them something to read, to be fair. And it's
ESL.
and yeah, my students are super high, so I give them something to read and they read it. So it's not like a normal day-to-day stuff.
She teaches adults.
Right.
Yeah, so they're reading something from NPR, New York Post, Washington Times. They're reading high level stuff. They're talking like we are, so they could join us and chat.
Right.
You should have them do
Right,
that as
right.
an assignment. That would be fun.
Oh, good God! Can you imagine?
Have them do what, Rob?
Have them do that as an
No.
assignment. There's people that are learning how to speak English. I'm still learning how to speak English, and I've been doing it for a number of years.
No.
I think it'd be great. You should do it.
Do we have live comments?
What's
Say
that?
again?
I was gonna say, do we have any live comments tonight? I was just seeing if anyone was listening and not.
Yeah, we have some comments from a little bit from earlier. Somebody said, "Wow, that's crazy." Somebody said, "I'm going to go get some wine." Somebody said, "Here, I can show you a couple of the comments."
No, I switched over. I just I forgot.
Anybody? This is what happens if you don't give StreamYard the permission to show who you are.
Okay.
It just shows up like this. If you look at the actual Facebook group, you can see who these people are. But when it comes over, someone here is making the right move. Whoops. And getting some wine. I'm not sure who was getting some wine.
They're
I think-
obviously if they're drinking wine.
Was that you? Yeah. No, I'm kidding. This is somebody, I think a lot of this was during part of your conversation around just the craziness and the lockdown.
Tell you, I used what is this called? Guard Stream or what is this called? StreamYard.
Oh, StreamYard, yeah. Yeah, I actually paid for it now, so I'm helping to support the economy, and I no longer have the banner across the top of my page. And if I ever get around to making this anything fancy, I'll put a green screen behind me and make it look like I'm somewhere fancy instead of sitting in my apartment. Maybe a bar or something. I don't know.
Is it StreamYard or Barnyard?
No,
Stream.
Barnyard is where I live. StreamYard is the application.
Okay, I was just making sure. It wasn't Barnyard.
No.
Because I used it Sunday for my Sunday brunch I had with some coworkers, and we had some technical difficulties at first because I organized it, and I'm like, I need Rob,
Yeah, yeah.
but I figured it out.
Yeah, it's not too challenging to operate. One of the things I'm hoping that happens in this channel is as we try and grow it a little bit. So please, by the way, share this with your friends, both the YouTube page as well as the Facebook page. But one of the things I would love to see is I'd love to be able to go into the Facebook group and just see other people doing happy hours. Like, how cool would it be to see like 5 or 6 happy hours going on at once, and you can just watch one and jump in and watch one and jump in. Like, this isn't the Matt and Rob show per se. This was just my own therapeutic way of staying sane during these crazy times and
Keeping him sane.
trying to bring a community of people together and talk about whatever's going on in life. And we have in a couple of minutes, hopefully we have Luke going to join us and talk. And I've got a couple of people that I'm trying to book. Of course, when I don't have a producer, I'm no Joe Rogan for sure.
Who?
Wait, I thought
Joe
I was.
Rogan? You don't know who Joe Rogan is? Oh God. Go look up Joe Rogan podcast and entertain yourself for like the rest of the 4 months you're gonna be on lockdown. Joe Rogan does these amazing podcasts, and but he doesn't have a call-in feature. So Joe, call me if you want to figure that out. I'll help you out. But so I've been trying to book some people. We have a physician with one of the local hospitals. He's a critical care pulmonologist. So he's gonna try and join us to talk about just what he's seeing in the ICU and be able to answer our questions. Because we're not physicians here. I am by no means a doctor, but he needs permission from his hospital in order to join us. So the thing is you start to do these little things, even though we only have X number of people watching us yet, because this is episode 5.
Is that what it is? What did we start?
We're on episode 5.
What's that, Matt?
It's really episode 5?
I
I thought
think
it was
so.
7.
No, because I started on my birthday, but that wasn't this. That was just my own little, everybody saying happy birthday, which nobody did, by the way.
That was
Okay.
a pity party.
I didn't get a cake or a happy birthday sung to me, by the way, but that's all right. That was a
I
week ago
sent you-
today.
Oh,
I
I
sent
must
you that
know.
fucker,
Okay.
but it got lost.
So we, We did Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, and today. So episode 5.
Okay.
So we're trying. Let's see if Paul doesn't have his child's background music playing anymore.
I'm trying to find the mic so I can kind of cut down on it's.
Yeah, we
and-
got
and-
you now, and the background isn't bad. So hello.
Yeah, now that I got it on my PC, it's much better. My phone is terrible. Wasn't working on my phone.
Because
The
you have an
phones
Apple.
are good.
But
I
that's
had
okay.
it on my phone to sit outside, and they're not as good.
Yeah, it's not working good.
Yeah.
It's working now though.
So how are you surviving lockdown? What are you doing to keep sane?
Moping mostly. No.
Moping.
Yeah. No, it's hard for me because I'm having a hard time because I'm a workaholic. I love to work. It's my favorite thing to do. It's like taking away a piece of me not being able to go to work. I hate it.
Yeah, it's a dealership. So, Paul, do you want to tell everybody what you do?
I do mobile body dent repair for car dealerships.
And where's your original home?
Say that again?
Where are you from originally?
I'm from PA. I live in Pennsylvania.
But where in Pennsylvania?
In Bucks County, in England.
Okay.
Paul and I grew up around the corner from each other. His mom was my babysitter.
Okay.
So,
I'm just being nosy, so.
like my brother. No, Northeast Philly. We're originally from Morrell Park. Represent.
Yeah, I'm just being nosy from Lansdale, so I just want to know where you're from.
There's from Lansdale over in Holland, but Poland, but I call it Holland because
Yeah.
they're nowhere near each other and I don't know geography. I have no
Wow.
Yeah.
idea. Paul was saying that one of the things he does is just gets in his car and go for a drive. Are you guys allowed to even do that in Europe? Just go for a drive?
Yeah, we're driving around.
Yeah, but Alon, you guys aren't even able to do that, are you? Like, if you're driving around, will the police pull you over in Poland or the UK?
All right. Yeah, the sound is breaking up for me. So I think that you asked me a question.
Yes,
And
I'm
you're asking if you drive down, if the police stops you.
Yeah.
It depends where. Actually, they won't stop you per se, unless they found you somewhere in the middle of nowhere. They will stop you and ask you what you're doing. Most of the car drivings are essential workers, what they call essential workers. So anybody working for the health system, food industry, some of the supermarkets, and so on and so forth. So usually they won't be stopped, especially
Is that
if
same
it's, morning and evening.
Same with you, Heather?
No one can go out, so.
So if you're driving, they're going to pull you over and ask you what the heck you're doing.
Dak Prescott.
No one's driving. No one. I'm in Center City, so it's kind of like Center City, Philly.
Right.
So, like your essential workers. Well, is it more mass transit over there? Is mass transit being affected?
There's nothing. I mean, there's trams and stuff, but there's no. You can't go anywhere and do anything.
Because SEPTA now is running really like a Saturday schedule. Like they're canceling trains. Same with the New Jersey Transit.
Yeah.
I was surprised I didn't see them running. I saw a bus the other day, and I was like, "What is this bus doing?" But I guess people that work in,
I
know.
I haven't seen You're right. I haven't seen a SEPTA bus in forever.
Yeah, no, I saw one
Saturday, Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah, but where are you guys? Like, Maddie, where are you? Where do you live?
I'm in Skipback. So,
But you wouldn't normally see buses and stuff, would you?
oh yeah, no, I cruise. I cruise for work, so
Okay.
I go all over the place. But I haven't
Okay,
seen.
so you would see stuff.
Mm-hmm. But even
he's an essential worker, so he's out and about.
I do HVAC and refrigeration.
Yeah.
So
So you're out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a fleet manager, so I manage a fleet of trucks. So it's not so much I'm banging on heaters and air conditioning, but I got to keep the trucks running.
Yeah.
But where's the furthest you'd go?
So my company, we do the tri-state area. So we go New York, Delaware, Jersey, Pennsylvania. Far as west as Harrisburg in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
New York, like New York City, that's like an oddball job. But then all Delaware, not so much the Delaware beaches, and then all of Jersey. We go from top of Jersey to the bottom of Jersey.
Okay, fair enough.
And we do chain restaurants. So we have about 700 restaurants that
I'm waiting to see, like, if they increase, I don't know, some of the enforcement like you guys have over there. We don't have any fines at all. Like I said, still parts of the state can move around freely. Actually, there was a site. I'll have to see if I can't find it. I might have gotten rid of it. No, it's actually here somewhere, I think. Yeah, let me see if I can refresh it. I'll share it with you. It's an interesting map. It only shows the...
I see a baby.
Oh, who's that? Who's that?
I see a baby. Not you.
No, I know. I didn't mean to show me.
There's a baby.
Oh, there's a baby. That's Tony Joe right there.
Yeah.
Who is that?
Look, baby. Look, baby. Say hi to everybody. Hi, everybody. How are you? Hi, everybody.
Who is that?
This is my sweet love and my baby boy,
What is his name?
Anthony.
How old is he?
Wait, you're calling him Anthony?
Settle down. He's still a little baby.
That's his name, Anthony.
How old is he?
He's 9 months.
Gary.
He's not, what is he, 9 months?
9 months.
9 months.
Yeah, that's my boy right there.
He's not exactly happy right now.
That's all right. No, I don't think anybody is a little happy right now. So he
doesn't really want to be chatting, does he?
He wants to grab everything on my desk.
So,
He touched a whole bunch of stuff on the screen.
you have a touch screen, you're in trouble. So this is a map of the US, and it shows you each state, and green are the places that are saying shelter in place. So it's more like a strong recommendation or a legal order to stay where you are. This one is like voluntary. So you can see in Pennsylvania, that's where we are. Although some counties are more shelter in place. And then there's still a couple of states that haven't really done anything, which is kind of crazy. What's interesting is if you click into these states, like, I don't know, let's click on like Oklahoma, for example. It has this really interesting graph that says if you have like no action, this dotted line is the expected hospital beds over time. This red graph shows the expected number of hospitalizations. If you do nothing, this one is if you do 3 months of social distancing, like what the expected hospital bed needs are going to be. And then if you do a shelter in place, what that expectation will look like. And so if you like scroll down, you'll see, there's an overload projected by April 13th. If you do nothing, they expect 79,000 deaths just from the state. If you do the 3 month social distancing, they expect 59,000. And if you do a full shelter in place, they expect only 2,000 people to die. So, they have this for every single state, which is interesting. So that, like, if you see this, like, people are saying, like, Oklahoma, you must act out. You must act now. Like, stop being retards. And sorry, I know that's not the politically correct term. But in, even in New York, so in New York is a shelter in place. They're saying they're actually doing poor compliance shelter in place and strict compliance shelter in place. And if New York does a strict compliance of shelter in place, they're going to exceed the hospital beds, but only by a little bit. And best case scenario, 64,000 deaths. Worst case shelter in place, 291, and if they do nothing, 391. So it's an interesting site if you guys ever want to look at it. It's called covidactnow.org. So, just places that I've been looking for data when it comes to, what can we do? I found a couple of sites like that I've been paying a lot of attention to. Here, if we care, I know I'm not going to doom and gloom you too much. But
Yeah,
let me show you.
I don't need doom and gloom. What I like about this is it picks me up.
Yeah.
Well, it does it, but I don't know, just one of the two.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm trying to keep it as positive as I can. That's why I have Luke joining us in a couple of minutes to try and talk about some ways for us to stay sane. But I really love the fact that we've got Alon and Heather joining us internationally, because that's an insight. It's an
Where's
insight.
Heather?
Yeah, she's right there. I don't know which way you're looking. There. It's a really great insight. So I really
Hang on a
appreciate
second. The cameras are backwards and it messes us up.
I know. Like, if I
Okay,
put it that way, it's really not.
my face is going right, and I'm all kind of confused.
It doesn't take much. Alon, you know Matteo, right? I don't know if Alon can hear me.
I heard you calling my name, that's all.
Yeah. So there's a guy that we work with named Matteo, who he's the company that we do consulting work for is in Italy, and Matteo is obviously one of the Italians, who, by the way, when we played poker in Vegas in October, he beat me, but that's okay. I'll beat him. But he is in the north of Italy, where they're kind of hit the hardest. He's not in the true epicenter of Lombardy. He's a little bit to the southwest. I don't know how you would want to describe it. But his father went into the hospital for some surgery, and while he was recovering, they found that he had COVID. So now he's dealing with that. So I'm hoping he'll join us to talk about just what's going on in Italy, because it's insane in some of those countries like Spain and Italy. What's been going on? But, hopefully you guys don't have to deal with that. Try and keep it positive. So, Paul, what's it like having a baby in the middle of all of this? He has no clue, right?
Nope.
Nope. He's just doing his thing.
Just doing its thing.
Monica, are you staying in more? I mean, I know you've been kind of at home taking care of the baby anyway, but
Yeah, but we would get out some or visit like my mom and go places. We would still get out and go places.
But you're not really doing that now, I guess?
No.
She's still important, Rob.
No.
What? I said Monica. What?
No, I'm saying to me, she's still important. She can't go out.
Oh, right. Okay. I get it. It's funny because Paul told me to go out to the store and get him something the other day, so I don't know what that means.
Well,
Yeah,
Diapers.
action.
He needs diapers.
Yeah, he
we
needed
took
that.
our rides though, which I'm used to doing that before this, so I'm not a big social butterfly in the first place, but it is different.
Does Anthony fall asleep during the rides? Is that one reason why you take him, or yeah?
Yeah, and it's just nice to do. We like taking scenic rides, but he does. We'll take a nap. Yeah.
How old is Anthony? I walked away when you answered that question.
He's 9 months.
Okay.
And sorry to be nosy, where do you live?
We're in Langhorne.
We're in Bucks County, PA. Yeah, in Langhorne.
Langhorne, okay.
Yeah. Heather's from Lansdale originally, so.
Yeah, so I'm just being nosy because I live in Europe now, so.
Do you miss it back home or not really? You kind of like it there.
No, I mean, it's hard. It's hard.
Living there, it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard because, I mean, my family and friends are at home, aren't they? Because they're in Quakertown, they're in Lansdale.
Okay.
And so it's where I grew up. So it's hard.
Yeah, that I can understand.
What do you miss the most about around us?
I'll tell you, and I don't know if any of you guys are in Lansdale. If you're near Lansdale and you're near Fifth Street, Juliana, I so miss the cheesesteaks there.
Oh, you
Man,
missed
the
the
hoagies. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't eat meat, so I miss like the cheesesteaks, you know.
Mhm.
There is such thing as a cheesesteak?
Oh yeah, of course there is. Like it's like provolone, American, and
Really?
oh, just sit down. It's fine. You can just back off. No, it is. It's so. I miss it so much.
Is that Julian?
Juliano's.
Yeah,
Juliano's.
Juliana's. Yeah.
On Fifth
Yeah, I
Street.
remember going to Fifth Street Pool. Yep. Riding the bikes
Oh,
across the street.
you went to
getting
the
up
pool.
Yeah, Matt's from Lansdale too.
Yeah. Yeah,
there.
it's hard.
Did a lot of miles on a BMX bike through Lansdale.
Oh, I used to ride my bike from Hatfield all the way up to Percy.
No, and it's hard because I think Lansdale's a good place to raise kids.
So we should move?
North Penn School District.
Yeah.
Well, North Penn, yeah, but you're so big. Like Lansdale Catholic, a little smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, the guy that was on earlier, Eric, I don't know if you know, but he's the coach of the Lansdale Catholic college basketball team.
Yeah.
So they had an interesting season this year where they made the state finals but weren't able to finish everything because they got shut down from coronavirus. What's up? Your name is still spelled wrong there. So
I never said I could spell. You realize I've been locked out of work for 2 days because I can't remember my password. And I think it's because I spelled coronavirus wrong.
So right now you're demonstrating everything against what we've just been talking about, right?
What were you talking about?
Just how everybody stay home.
How what?
Everybody should stay home.
Everybody what?
Stay home.
Stay home. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing is I'm fucked because they have such high security that the only way to change the password is you have to be on the network to change the password, right? And all the buildings are closed. So all I can do, if I can't guess the fucking password, it means I have to take the laptop and mail it in. And someone's, yeah. Absurd.
Where are you? What state are you?
I'm in Florida.
He's a New Yorker that left New York to go to Florida and it's stuck the rest of Florida.
Well, the office here is closed too. They have an office in Coral Springs, but everything is closed. Nobody's allowed in anywhere.
Well, you can't even just go sneak into the office to get on the network to be able to change the password?
If I want to get shot, yeah.
Oh my God. They say Philly's bad.
Well, that sounds worth it.
They're ridiculous.
That's Shannon. That's my buddy Rick, who we used to work together back in Merrill Lynch days.
Okay, hold on.
Long time ago.
So my mom is freaking out about all these germs and shit, and how I have to wash my hands and be like completely immaculate before I get in her car. Can you guys look at this?
Are you in her car right now?
This is her phone. Like, what the hell is she talking about?
I don't know. That's a good question. What is she talking about? I think you might be the epicenter of the coronavirus right there.
Seriously. Yeah, and because she insists. She's 60. She's 71, right? And she's been going out 3 times a day, every day.
Why?
Doing what?
Just to bullshit. Oh, I'm gonna go buy this. Oh, I'm gonna go buy that. Like, really, you can't order this stuff and have them send it. Like, I'm on my way to go buy a controlled substance. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be leaving. I only leave to run, and that's it.
Well, you might have to run later too. Who knows?
Probably to get away from her. She's driving me nuts.
Do you got a Florida driver's license or a New York driver's license?
New Jersey and Colorado.
Ah.
Well, you have a Colorado driver's license too?
Yeah, you can't get weed without that. Well, you can't legally get weed without it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, when I first got there, I thought I was going to do everything legit.
We got weed when we went out for Great American Beer Fest.
Well, prescription, I mean, like.
Oh, no. There's pot shops
out there. Legal there now.
Yeah, it's all legal.
You can get that way, yeah. But
we got weed when we went out to Great American Beer Fest.
Yeah, I was a grower, so it's like you have to prove residence to be a grower.
No, we just went to a pot shop.
Yeah. Oh, you wouldn't believe this shit. Oh, it's a different story. What is that?
So where are you? What's the latest with lockdown there? Are you guys locked down yet, or what's going on?
Where?
You locked down. You getting it?
Yeah, like have they locked you down yet? I know that you guys weren't locked down there for a while. So
where are you?
I'm right here. Where are you?
No, the person you're asking.
I'm asking you. I'm asking you. You're the one in Florida.
65. Oh, I didn't hear you say Florida. 65 and up are not supposed to leave the house.
Okay, but everybody else can?
Pretty much.
Are stores open or no?
So most of them have pickup where you order online and then you go and pick the stuff up. She wants me to get my drugs through the drive-thru. I'm not doing that. I have to I got to find some dumbbells because there's no. She doesn't have anything, and I'm not going to go to the gym here with this. There's not hardly any cases, but like
when you say dumbbells, you mean literal
lifting weights.
I need something, yeah. Like I mean, there's like.
And where you're in Fort Myers?
I'm in Port Charlotte.
Fort Charlotte.
It's Charlotte County. So they had 2 cases up until yesterday, and now I think they have 20.
Yeah. So where we're at, Montgomery County just went again. Unfortunately, we did 8 cases today in Montgomery County.
Shit.
Maddie, do you have any details of where exactly in Montgomery County?
No, they just tell you in Montgomery County. That's where it's at.
I might have details for that.
Yeah. Bobby could pay. And then Philly gave up their numbers because they're testing. So
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Wait a minute, why is that? That's not what I want. Share my screen.
I know a 30-something-year-old had one. So they're saying these millennials can't spread, can get it. They just spread it, but
yeah.
So here's Montgomery County total cases as of today. 58 new cases today.
Mm-hmm.
Total of 564, 8 deaths. There's a map down here somewhere.
Yeah, we're up to 8 deaths.
So this is Montgomery County.
Yeah.
So you can see that the big epicenter is down in Lower Marion, 107. But also where Matt is, well, close to where Matt is, Lower Providence, 29.
Where's Lansdale? Where's Lansdale?
Lansdale's probably right.
Yeah. Grand Northville. Yeah, there you go. 5
positives, no deaths.
Wait, you're looking at the Florida?
No, this is Montgomery County, Pennsylvania.
Oh, Pennsylvania. Okay.
What about Bucks, Rob?
Let me see if I can find Bucks County.
I was going to say, can you pull it up for any county in PA?
Yeah,
Bucks.
I have the full. Hold on, let me share this other tab. Hold on a second.
Fix this.
So there should be like like coronavirus veteran Tinder, right? Like if you've already had it.
What?
If you've already had it, then you can start dating again. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But if you get it, you can get it again.
Yeah, I've been talking to so Rick is like a amazing programmer that I can never get him to actually program anything for me because I'm unimportant. But I'm just kidding. But we've been talking about maybe putting together a couple of different apps to help. One of the ones I came up with today was something to help once we're done, how we can prove that people are actually clear and can start going back to work. So, Paul, Bucks County, 286 total infections with 3 deaths. This is the county map.
Right.
You can see, obviously, where the red is where it's worse in Pennsylvania. And, you know, there's some counties that really don't have anything.
Yeah.
Obviously, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, and it looks like it's starting to move up, you know,
Right
to this
here.
part of Pennsylvania, too.
There ain't nothing out here.
But, you know, if you
Yeah,
look at
I was
Philadelphia,
thinking today, like, you know, like the virus, yeah, like they spread like geometrically, and you know, so it's like exponential, whatever. But it, you know, it also crossed my mind that the panic does as well. And
yeah.
so, the number of confirmed cases might be even like if you could imagine like say everybody has it, right? And it's just a question of how many people are panicked enough to get tested. That would fit a similar model. Like the curve would look just the same, you know?
Yeah. So I know that, so Rick's one of these guys that likes to do like mathematical models. So Rick actually went through and did his own little math behind the coronavirus, and I don't think anybody wants to actually look at what his numbers were because the projections were kind of crazy. But he was sharing with me. I didn't get a chance to read that article you sent me. That kind of
that one's crazy. That's too complicated anyway.
yeah.
We're not going to be part of a controlled substance deal, are we?
Yeah.
I think he's going to CVS. I think it's legal, whatever it is he's buying.
Walgreens.
So,
I heard there were gloves in here. Yeah, look at this.
what do you got in there?
They have gloves to keep you from getting contaminated, but I'm just wondering, kind of like the, you know, like the dish after, you know, with the after dinner mints. It's like, I mean, you reach in here to get the gloves.
You got to reach into the glove.
I don't know. I think it's safer to not take the gloves.
If
Right?
you have
Every single person touches that, right? I mean,
right. But then you put gloves on, so you're okay after that. Once you get contaminated,
right, yeah.
contaminate anything else.
It makes sure to keep the contamination inside the glove.
Give us a stroll down the toilet paper aisle. Let's see what's going on.
I've got you full
I think
screen right now, so you're full screen.
Give us a stroll down CVS.
All right, let's.
Where is he?
He's at CVS in Florida. I don't know, where in Florida are you?
He's at
Port
Walgreens.
Charlotte.
Oh,
Port
yeah,
Charlotte.
Walgreens, excuse me. Port Charlotte, Walgreens.
I think they do have a toilet paper shortage because I heard my mom whining about it, or my sister whining. Somebody was whining about it.
I saw there was a video of people like robbing one of these kind of stores in like San Francisco because no police were arresting them. So they went to the beauty section and just dumped everything in the trash bags. Whoa, there you go.
So, Bobby, your mom lives in Charleston.
Yes.
How's she holding up?
She's
the paper
fine.
goods
She's still
aisle.
working. That's
Why
the
there's-
paper goods aisle. Is there anything left?
No, look, empty.
Empty. I saw like a couple boxes down there. What was that?
Limit
Tissues?
2 per person,
Two empty spaces.
but they're all out.
Wow.
Really? It's called a fucking leaf on a tree. You can wipe your ass like that.
Well,
Yeah, man.
somebody said to me, you could just, you just get in the shower. You know.
That's why I told you. I did that.
That's funny, actually. That's what my ex said.
Yeah.
I could totally picture her doing that.
Just get in the
I
shower.
can picture her not even stepping out of the shower to use the toilet.
Well, that's why she's your ex.
Wait, was there toilet paper in a Florida Walgreens, or
What's that, Paul?
I had to walk away? Is there toilet paper in a Florida Walgreens, or
No, there is
No, they have
there's
none.
no toilet paper left.
They're disinfectant wipes.
What's that?
Disinfectant wipes are they're cleansers.
Oh yeah, there might be. Yeah,
Heather, does it look like this in Poland?
Say again?
Does it look like this in Poland?
Does it
The
look like
shelves,
what?
like the shelves.
Oh no, and we have plenty of stuff. I mean, I
Yeah,
can't go out like tonight, but plenty of stuff.
Maybe on Saturday when you go out, you'll do a little a brunch with us. You know what?
No,
I found it. I found it. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, there's lots of stuff. So I don't know why people are like freaking out.
Yeah, but you were saying to me that they have like plastic curtains or something at the checkout counters.
No, they got like plastic walls.
Yeah, sneeze guards, they're called.
Oh, like sneeze guards.
Yeah, so they go 4 foot high, and then it's almost like you're dealing with a casino dealer, where
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
a box office, and it's
Yeah.
4 foot high, and you can give them cash or you can give them a card.
Yeah, but that's okay because I just want my food. So like here, take my money,
Yeah.
and you know, I'll take my food. You know,
There's some places that aren't accepting cash, and then there's
I
some
know.
people that only do cash, and then there's only people that do cards.
Well, it's like that here as well, and I have cash. Like I'm in Poland, I have
How you
cash.
doing?
I pay it in cash. All I got is
Yeah,
cash.
it's a thing.
And-
This has nothing to do with it.
But they don't want cash, do they? Like here, they're not. He's getting yelled at for having a camera on.
I know some people don't want cash, and I'm like, I got cash. I can pay you, but they're like, no.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that's
It's one of the other. Like, if you don't do a cash exchange, then that way you don't contaminate somebody, because if you're not staying isolated, then therefore if I come in with somebody in contact, then I can spread it to 10 other people. That person can spread it to 10 other people. It's just stay home. Just stay home. I'm with Justin.
I know.
Just stay home.
The thing is that like it's not.
It's that, but it's like at the same time, it's like, well, I don't know. You and I are, I think, similar in age, maybe.
I graduated in 2005.
so you're a millennial?
What year were you born?
86.
Okay, so I'm a little older than you.
My birthday's coming up in June. Hopefully we can get out of this epidemic and we can go to Nashville.
I was born in March, so it's not.
Yeah,
maybe
what
not.
was your birthday, Heather?
March.
Never
March.
ask
Wait.
a lady's
No,
age.
I didn't ask the year. I want to know the date. March what?
75. I'm very
No,
old.
no, I didn't ask the year, but what
No,
was
I
the
think
date?
it's a couple
75, my
times.
sister did. Yeah, so you're 11 years older than me, right?
Yeah, I'm super older than you, but my point is that I mean, in this whole scheme of things, like there's stuff that I mean,
I think he's tired.
there's stuff that we are not like I don't know how to say it.
So, what are you trying to say? Talk to me a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we got someone in a CVS right now. We might do live PD. I might take over
Seriously.
and do the commentation.
Heather, when was your birthday, Heather? I want to wish you a belated happy birthday, unless it was today.
March 6th.
Oh, 6th.
Oh,
So I was March 24th, the same year as you.
well, cheers to the birthdays.
Birthdays. Have your
On
water.
the 25th.
Oh, look,
Oh,
Heather
yeah, that's
switched
right. Luke
over.
is the 25th.
That don't look like
That's
water.
what I'm saying, Luke. Luke
No,
wasn't
that's not
born the
water,
same
my
year.
friend.
What's up, Matt?
Yeah, look. Cheers.
Wait, did you say you're not doing water now, Heather, or you are? Oh, you got wine.
I think it's wine tonight.
Yeah. She switched.
Nice. I like it. So what's Luke? What's up, Luke? How you doing?
What's going on, everybody?
We got someone doing a chop. The price is right. Not the price. What was the grocery store cart running
What is that,
thing?
supermarket sweep?
Supermarket sweep. Yeah, supermarket sweep. We're doing a live shot off of that.
Okay. Where's he at?
He's in
Florida.
Florida. Okay.
Yeah, he had to run to the store to get pharmaceutical products for his mother.
Doing the
Mom.
aisle by aisle played.
Yeah, he was showing us earlier. Their
Find Pepto Bismol in aisle 6.
Yeah, we can look at a big view and see like what he's shopping for right now.
Take me off real quick. I got to make a call.
Coffee section.
You can mute yourself.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
I'll take you off. It's fine. I gotta just remove him, then I can add Paul back in.
Do you have a 6 max?
Yeah, 6 max, which is nice because it keeps it so we can actually have a conversation. Unlike Zoom, where you've got 15 pages of people that you can't actually see or communicate with.
Yeah.
This is just a 6 max. So I asked Luke to join us because I've been kind of stressed out, and lately, like even today, I got some crazy news with work. My work told me today that they were cutting my pay from almost 33%, which is significant.
Yeah.
And I have responsibilities, including child support and all of these fun things. And the timing couldn't have been better because Luke is one of these guys who he's I always try and listen to like mindfulness things, and I love Alan Watts to listen to his kind of talks. And Luke has also kind of gotten into that a lot recently. And Luke, tell everybody a little bit about kind of some of the things you've been focusing on in the past. I don't know how long you've been starting to focus on these things, but
It's been
yoga and stuff.
Yeah, it's been almost almost 2 years this summer. So I'm a yoga practitioner it's called Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti is an ancient lineage from India, and Bhakti in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti is described as like the highest form of yoga. So when we think of yoga here in the West, we think of like a physical practice. In Bhakti, they say that the physical asana practice, like the class that you're all, that maybe you've been to or maybe you've seen somewhere, that asana practice, that physical practice is just like a side dish, like almost like a condiment. Like if you came over to my house for dinner and I just gave you like salt, that's what asana is in the Bhakti lineage, so Bhakti actually translates to devotional service. And through devotional service, yoga, the actual word yoga means to connect. So you're connecting yourself to something bigger. So through all this movement that you do, this mindfulness, this breathing, these postures that you're holding, that is all prepping. Maybe prepping is a weird word, but like preparing your body and your mind for things just like what we're going through now, where the bottom just dropped out for everyone. And I know like people are like freaking out, and I've maintained this level of calmness, and I kind of attribute it to being able to have control of my mind. Everything comes from the mind. And I use one of these quotes in my class. I teach every Saturday. I teach a class, and it's an online class now. But I use this thing. I got it from somewhere else. You know, like a lot of things get recycled around in the yoga community, things that you say and things that you bring into your class. But it says where attention goes, energy flows. So if all of your attention is going towards this thing that's going on, you know, we don't even know what this is. This invisible little thing that's it's stopped the whole world. And the more we feed into that energy of where that, you know, like putting all of our attention into that, that's where our energy is going to go. And that's how we're going to even get more sick. So I think we really need to be careful every day, but even now, being careful of what we're ingesting, what we're taking in the form of books, music, movies, food. You know, like you can really drastically change and alter the way that you think with what you're eating. And, you know, that's a whole different subject and topic that we can get into, you know, later. But through this movement and breathing and just really centering yourself and taking, you know, back to the word bhakti, we all have this ego in the center that we like to serve. You know, we all serve this ego. So in bhakti, we take that ego out of the center and we replace it with divinity. And once you start to develop, you know, and divinity could be anything. It could be the sun. It could be the forest. Anything that's bigger than yourself. Once you replace that ego with something bigger than yourself, and you can start to feed energy into something bigger than yourself, those material desires start to lessen. And I think a lot of the problem that we have as people is we get kind of bought into this whole, you know, you're the car you drive, you're this house that you live in, you're the clothes that you wear, you're the fancy computer, the fancy phone, the fancy convertible car, you know, like,
hey.
But what happens in 1 second, it can all be gone.
Yeah.
So in what I've been learning, it's been training me to say, like, what if it all disappeared tomorrow? What would you be left with?
This right here. These 6 people and the people that are watching us. Right?
So if you know, and this is something that, you know, it takes, and I still have no clue, you know, I'm just happy to be here to be able to share a little bit with the 5 of you guys to make a little bit more sense of it. But like, you know, we own nothing in this world. We don't own anything. The only thing we own is the ability to give love. And if you can latch onto that and say, like, you know what, like, my house isn't mine, my apartment's not mine, my car's not mine, the banks own all this stuff. And it starts to bring it down a little bit where you're like, yeah, I know we all have bills to pay. You know, we're all in the state of like, what's going to happen tomorrow. But we're really always in that state. We have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. Even 3 weeks ago, you had no idea. You go to bed on a Sunday night, you don't know what's going to happen Monday. You could get in a car accident on the way to work. You could, you know, your house could burn down. I mean, nothing is 100% permanent. And I think we've attached ourselves to this permanence of everything. You know, even our families. We don't own our wife or our girlfriend, our kids. We don't even own our kids. And we attach ourselves to everything. For then, when it's taken away from us, we're left with nothing. So the training has kind of brought me to more, you know, my teacher says, don't go outside, go inside. And that's where we are. We're inside. And we're freaking out.
Yeah, because inside in some of us is a pretty scary fucking place.
Inside is scary, man. So,
oh my gosh, watch everything.
So you said you were like focusing on, like, you know, some things that are greater than you. Like what for you personally? Like what do you focus on? Hold on. Rick, I'm going to mute you for a second while you're checking out, so I don't hear your credit card number. Actually, hold on, wait. I want his credit card number. No, I'm kidding.
So in this bhakti lineage, it's a Krishna based training that I went through. So when
Well,
they
hold
say
on.
divinity,
Explain Krishna, because like I'm old enough to remember the movies with like the Hare Krishnas in them, but I have no idea like what
yeah.
is a Hare Krishna versus like what you just said. You used the word Krishna. What does that mean?
So Krishna is, in Bhakti, in Hindu mythology, Krishna is their god.
Okay.
There's many forms. Krishna there's many avatars
Yeah.
of Krishna. Krishna is this little blue guy, little baby, that grows up to be, there's different parts
Like
of
a
his
Smurf.
life. Yeah, almost like a Smurf. Yeah. And I'm probably going to start stuttering a little bit here because this is where this takes years and years and years to learn.
Yeah, no, I was just curious.
But
Heather,
but like the actual, the bhakti practice, that devotional service, that's a non-denominational thing. That could be for Catholics, that could be for Jewish people, that could be for Protestants. That, basically the bhakti practice is just looking at things through a different lens. And if you put, like if you ever worn like a pair of red glasses or blue glasses, like,
I had to put my green goggles on for the last half of the Eagles season.
Yeah, green goggles. So everything's green. In Bhakti, they say we're wearing lenses of love. So when you're looking at everything with through loving lenses, all you're taking in is good. You're kind of leaving out all that stuff that we get, like, like that binds us down. But yeah, so I mean, it's a my focus is a Krishna Bhakti. So I I have certain meditations that I do throughout the day, and I have a class that I take with my teacher every morning through Zoom, where we read this ancient book of Indian literature. Is called the Srimad Bhagavatam, and it's like 18,000 verses in these books, and he gets up every morning at 5 a.m. and reads this stuff and kind of like talks for an hour. Wow. And
Heather, it looks like you like wanted to say something.
I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
No,
no.
It's a conversation.
I'm sorry. I'm just kind of like taking it over. Sorry.
No, and so I just want to ask. I'm just going to point, and it's pointing the wrong direction. Okay, I just want to point and ask, what I think you're a similar age to me.
42.
Okay, 44-ish. 44.
Same age. And we have no age.
45. And so how does this help you?
Well, it takes you out of, another main kind of like tagline that my teacher talks about. He says, like, we're not the body, we're not the mind, we're something divine. So when you think about, if you get stuck with, I'm this body, you said your name is Heather?
Yes.
And you live where?
I live in Europe, but I'm from Philadelphia area.
Okay. So Heather,
where in Europe?
Heather,
I live in Poland, but it doesn't matter.
No.
Wow, that's awesome.
I'm just trying to like set it up. Like Heather from Poland, that was from Philadelphia. That's a very thin page in the book of your life, and we focus on this, from what I've learned, we're all spirit souls and we have a body. So our body is kind of like a rental car. We only have it for a few days, but the soul is eternal. The soul goes
American Spirit Light Blue
forever. So when you start to focus on these things where like, we're always kind of like looking into the future. We're thinking about the past, and we kind of rob ourselves of what's going on like right now. So focusing on all these other things aside from what's going on now, it just complicates life. So when you break it down and you go inside and you sit and just breathe and focus and try to cultivate that feeling of like focusing and inner peace, if you do that all the time, it's just like anything else. Like if you are riding a bike, you know, like if you're a mountain biker, I'm a mountain biker. So if I'm out in the woods 3 days a week, I'm going to get better at riding. If I'm only out in the woods 1 day every 4 weeks, you know, my skills aren't going to be that good. If this is something that you're practicing every day, sitting with yourself, breathing, even if it's for 5 minutes to start, I mean, this is the best time to start a meditation practice. To sit for 5 minutes, even for 2 minutes, to sit with yourself and say,
thanks, man. Have a good one.
What else do I have to do? Let me just try this.
Where's your original home?
I'm from Philadelphia area and I live in South Jersey now.
Yeah, but where in Philadelphia?
Croydon, Ben Salem.
Okay.
And then I've been in South Jersey for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
But I've always been fascinated by like Eastern philosophy for a long time. And it's probably been for about, 12, 15 years. I've been, I went to a Buddhist temple for a while and that kind of didn't, there was just some things that didn't make sense to me. And the way that this was presented to me, I was like, this is awesome. This is really helping me to be a better person, to be a better father, be a better husband. Yeah, I mean, we have a really great
I
community.
can give an instance from my life where it helps, where it's helped me. I spent the past like 5 years with this chick who was like the only time I ever have like sincerely felt like everything was right and like I was actually like in love with the person and wanted to like just be with her and all that, right? And even though for the most part we kept the whole thing in the present moment, it's like it's hard to be in a relationship without planning for the future somewhat, right? Or at least getting some idea in your head of like what the future would be like, as you're like meeting the family, going to family functions, her mother's wedding, talking about what career goals or where we're going to travel to, that kind of stuff. And it's like all those concepts, right, are related to like future, right? And or even present situation. At the time, we were living together and we had the whole routine, right? And the thing is like one day, the whole thing just basically it fell apart. And when that happened, it was like and this is like completely unlike me, but during that whole period, right, the first time in my life, I was actually like grateful, for the way things were and everything I had, content, not even just content, but like I had a sense of gratitude for all of it, right?
Yeah.
And so when that, like all in one moment, right, all of it, right, the place where I live, my new family, love of my life, or so I thought, all the future plans, all of it, the whole fucking thing, right? Boom, gone, right? And now there's just this empty space.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally could feel this split of as if there was like another me above me looking at this, because it's like the universe split, right? 1 minute my whole universe was one way, and then the very next minute my whole entire universe, everything that I saw, I had to look at differently because I had new information that from which I had to reassess the past, the present, and the future. Sure. And I think that the way it relates to this is that if I was to cling to that past, present, and future, I would have suffered a lot more greatly than I did. I mean, I suffered, but the thing is I was able to soothe it a little bit by staying in the present moment and saying that, look, all those illusions that I had at the time of that past, present, and future were not reality.
Yeah.
they were constructions in my mind. Like, you know, when you think someone loves you or how they feel about you, like that's your own construction. You don't know, you know, what's in their head.
Yeah.
When you think the future is going to be like this or that, you can never. And even your assessments of the past don't have complete information, right? So in one instant, like it was like proven to me without a doubt how different reality can be from what your perception is. And like, and I guess that in a moment like that where everything changes, like a New York minute, whatever,
Yeah.
you can really sense that the only thing that matters, the only thing that's real, is the present moment, because that's the only thing that that experience that's in the present moment is the only thing that you can even say is real, because everything else is a construction.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, man. And it's, you know, like we like to say, life is happening for us, not to us. And that's a huge.
Yeah, my mom used to say, life is what's happening while you're planning for it.
Yeah. Yeah, like when you get caught in this whole like, why me? Why is this happening to me? It, you know, when you can flip it around and say like, this is all happening for my benefit. And I know that, you know, that's hard. That's hard when tough things are happening. But yeah, that's what we're training for. That's what we're planning for. You know, every Saturday in my class, I teach these things, and I have so many people come up to me after and during the week or whatever, and send me like, you know, like that thing you said, I really needed that. Or like I say that like the yoga happens when you leave the studio. Like when you roll up your stuff and you leave, that's when the teachings start to set in, where you can take that mindset and take it out into the world, take it into your work life, your home life. And you know, so we like I was saying in the beginning, like just, you know, we think like, oh, we think yoga here. It's like, well, you know, tight yoga pants and moving around, and
I can't hate on yoga pants, I gotta be honest.
I know.
I don't want to Rob in yoga pants ever.
What's that?
Wait, what's that?
I don't want to see Rob in yoga pants.
Oh, you would love to see me in yoga pants. Don't even lie.
But you know, like that's what we've done in the West. We just take this thing that's sort of, you know, like this ancient sacred ritual activity, and we westernize it and we demonize it, and that's what we do. But
no, we commercialize it and profit off of it.
Yeah, exactly.
We turn it into like an exercise program where, you know, I charge you X number of dollars a lesson.
And it's, you know, it's I mean, great physical benefits are great, but the mental benefits are, I think, what people aren't expecting when they attend. I mean, and certain classes I think are probably just like an exercise class. I mean, mine's pretty spiritual based, and I think that in times like these, that's what people need. Like people need to hear something, whether it's from a friend, a person on the phone, computer, like in a conversation like this, that's just sharing something a little different. That's like, you know, in a time where you feel like hope's gone, like everything's gone, it's all gone. But I said to my wife a little bit ago, I was like, I'm fine. I feel fine. And she's like, yeah, you don't seem stressed at all. I mean, I'm not trying to brag at all. I'm really not. Like, I'm just trying to, you know, I got into this to help people as much as I could, because I feel like I have like a call to service, to like a devotional service to help people. And in my job during the day.
Hey Rob, did you mute my audio too, or just the mic?
No, you're good. You can talk.
We can hear you. You know, like we have these jobs that we do, and you know, for me, it's not fulfilling. You know, I have my own business. I fix dents on cars. I do it. I've been doing it for a long time. I enjoy it a lot, but there's a part of something that's missing in that day-to-day work for me. And teaching and having conversations like this is is more fulfilling than getting a paycheck from somebody. I mean, this is
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I started this whole
Rob,
group because it was just
mute
like
my audio too, or just the mic?
No, I can hear you. Do you want me to mute yourself or what? You can participate. You're good. What's up?
we can hear you. We can hear you.
Or you can mute yourself, whatever you
I'm gonna
want.
drop out and come back.
Yeah, that's fine. I know you don't want to be showing people the illegalness that you're doing driving around. But that's kind of what, it was funny because this year was the first year when I had my birthday. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna do something for myself. It was actually funny, Luke. I was talking to Paul. I don't know if you remember. I mean, God, it's probably close to 20 years ago when you were still with Kristen. And I remember one year I got in a really big argument with you and Kristen because you guys felt like, because you were close friends of mine at the time, and you kind of felt like I was being a little bit like egotistical and kind of taking everything upon myself. And I remember that like a lot, and I was then thinking recently how I've gone kind of the complete opposite way, and recently I haven't ever felt like I should celebrate my own birthday or anything about myself, So I said, you know what? This year I'm going to celebrate my birthday. And then this shit happened. So I was like,
it's your fault.
It's my fault. You blame it on me.
COVID-19 is all
COVID-19 is all my fault. So I was like, so I was like, well, screw that. Like, how can I still want to do something? Because, I like being social. It's important to me, like to be able to just have a connection with other human beings. And so I had the little birthday virtual happy hour that's kind of morphed into this because I want us to connect, and I know this is episode 5. So there's if we get 100 views on this, it'll be a success, but who really cares?
Can I say something? I actually, and I'm a little buzzed because the bourbon's kicking in, but I really look forward to these. It helps for reasons. It helps because I actually shower and well, maybe not today, but I shower and I do my hair and I look presentable for the general public. And it's also just good to remember that you're not alone and that there's other people out there and we're all kind of feeling the same emotions. So I think that these are perfect, Rob. So thank you.
No, I appreciate that because this is I'm doing this for others, but selfishly, I'm doing it just as much for myself because if I was done work at 5 o'clock and then sat in my apartment by myself until Paul texted me and said, Gary, when are you ready to play Call of Duty? I see you lurking back there. I don't know what I would do with myself. So, I hope that this grows. If it doesn't grow, so be it. We're still going to do it. I'm trying to do the best I can to try and make it a little bit more with a format by having people like Luke come in and talk to us. I'll probably take some snippets of some of these important parts of the conversation and post them separately for other people to share.
That's cool.
And, hopefully we can grow this group into something that other people can kind of join. And as we go through the next couple of weeks, and maybe even after we're done, get together to be able to talk about things. So somebody just posted, I'm just going to show this, right? I don't know who you are, who just said it's all going to pass and be okay. Whoever you are, join our conversation.
It's Bob Marley.
Say that. Say that.
It was Bob Marley.
Yeah, it was Bob Marley. But comments are great. Obviously, if you approve StreamYard to be able to show your comments would be even better. What would be even better than that would be actually to click on the link or annoyingly type in the URL that's underneath this banner to join on the conversation. This is not a show. None of us are stars. We're just people talking, and we want you to kind of join in on that. Although Joe Rogan, if you're watching, you can join us. Nobody knows who the hell Joe Rogan is. I don't get it.
How do you not?
I don't understand.
I am the biggest finance geek you'll ever ask Rob.
There's I don't know if anyone else is hearing it, but there's a crinkle in the microphone.
I don't know if that's me or hold on. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the infectionator spelled wrong, aka Rick, whose audio as he's driving his car is giving us a feedback. But go ahead.
Oh, I just put myself on mute. It's not me.
No, it wasn't you. You're fine.
But
What were you going to say, Luke?
I was muted.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's you. You were muted because your audio was giving me weird feedback.
Oh.
I don't know what I was gonna say. Oh, just Joe Rogan. Like, how can like he's such a big presence. It's pretty crazy. But
It would be great if you got him to like join.
That'd
By
be
the way,
pretty.
Beth just said there's a 6 max, so I didn't join. At least I think that was you, Beth. You can still join. I can just kick somebody out who's not talking. No, you're fine. You're fine. No, like Paul's just creeping back there. If anybody else joins, he can just watch. He doesn't want to say anything to us or whomever. It's fine. I'll bring us in and out. It's fine.
I thought Paul would be in his pajamas.
I didn't get busy with work.
I'm sorry it disappeared for so long.
We're not.
Matt, I missed you so much.
Yeah.
No, one of my neighbor has the emotional support pet that goes through the hospitals, and he came over, so that's why I stopped. Because Paisley, that's the dog's name.
Can I tell one more story?
Yes, I want you to tell another story.
Wait,
hold on. Does everybody else want him to tell another story?
Yeah, I can. Somebody else can talk.
No, I was just saying that's why I disappeared, because Paisley came over. She's a mission support pet for the hospitals, so she goes in and to the kids.
Can you hear me, Rob?
And everything like that.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
But Luke, I'm so sorry I missed everything.
Is everybody else? Can everybody hear?
I can hear everyone.
Okay.
You both are talking. Can you hear Matt?
No.
Yeah.
Should be able to hear me.
Yeah. Hold on, Matt. Drop out and rejoin because you might have been on pause for too long. Luke can't hear you.
Okay. Hold on.
Although we've got Gary back.
Gary!
Gary! If you're ever in a random place and you hear me scream Gary or Paul scream Gary, it's because we're just talking to each other, trying to find each other. It's a reference to Howard Stern.
Monica said you can kiss her ass for telling her back. You're gonna put her backstage.
Wait, what's that, Paul?
Can't hear Paul either.
Well, Luke, maybe you should drop out and drop back in.
Yeah, maybe. Paul, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, he can hear
I can hear you.
Can you hear him?
Can you hear me?
I can hear Shannon. I can't hear Paul.
That's weird. Drop out and drop back in. See what it does.
Okay.
You can hear me, right, Rob?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. He's gonna jump out real quick. Beth's gonna jump in and say hi.
Hey, Rob, I do have bad news.
What's your bad news, Shannon?
I opened this bottle of bourbon.
Which bottle?
This one.
Oh, yeah. I still have one and like a quarter left, but I will admit, hold on. I wish I could show you. Hold on. If I take my laptop off of my desk, hold on.
Did you get my text?
I'm going to show you what I did. Hold on. No.
Okay.
All right. So here's what I did. I made one of these. Hold on.
Daddy and Gary sitting in a tree.
Do you see that?
I can.
My big bucket of strawberry margarita. But I will admit, at least I used good tequila.
Hey, one more question before everyone gets back on. Did you get my text?
I don't think I did. No, I'm sorry.
Okay. It was blackmail.
I'll look for it in a moment.
Okay. Blackmail about food and alcohol.
There's no such thing. Hey, Beth, how are you?
Hi, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm dandy. Luke's back. Luke. What's the latest over there, Beth?
Just another day in quarantine. I didn't even brush my hair today, so that's kind of where I'm at.
Did you brush your teeth?
I did brush my teeth, just not my hair.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one of the interesting things because I myself am challenged every day to decide whether or not I'm going to. I like force myself to shower.
Mm-hmm.
And like this show actually makes me force myself to shower a little bit because if I don't, then.
But you cheated with the hat, Rob. Come on.
Well, this is just because I didn't do my hair, and it looks really, really bad if I don't.
What hair?
I
have
showered
hair.
today
It's
because
just not a lot of. It just looks really bad if I don't style it. Look how.
I'm like, it's time to
I look
shower.
like I'm 60 without my hat on. Jesus.
No, just put a goddamn beanie on. I don't know what that is. A scoot. What do they call
like
them?
A Bob Marley beanie. What are you talking about?
Put a cowboy hat on and call it a day.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. What did you say? Oh, Bob.
Hold on. You want a cowboy hat?
Heather's an Eagles fan. We'll bring Heather in.
She's back.
Shannon can kiss my tuchus. Yeah, so you take that cowboy hat off, Shannon. You can just watch. We took Shannon off. Heather, you're an Eagles fan, right?
Say again?
You're an Eagles fan, right?
Of course I am.
Okay, good. Thank you. Shannon is a moron. She's from Philly, but she lived in Houston for 1 year, so she wants to be a Houston, like a Dallas Cowboy fan.
It has nothing to do with it, but if that makes the story better, go ahead.
Listen, even poor Rick, who normally lives up near New York, even Rick's not a Cowboys fan.
Who?
The Infectionator.
The Infectionator.
Yeah, Rick. He's on mute. Rick, you can unmute yourself and you can comment on how bad the Cowboys are. Although I don't even think you watch football, so.
Yeah, I don't like spectator sports really.
Yeah, you're better than us.
No, it's not that. It's that I don't have the attention span.
So Beth, what have you been up to besides not washing your hair?
What did I do today?
Oh my God!
I came across the show Barry on HBO. So I
What's it
watched the Barry.
B-E or B-A?
Barry Manilow?
No, nice hat. No, Barry. Barry. It's the show on HBO. It's only like a half hour long, and I kind of binge watched that. It was really funny.
So actually, that's what I wanted to talk about before we went into our next conversation. Was there anything binge-worthy other than the Tiger King that we could talk about?
The Tiger King. That's what we need to talk
No,
about.
we're done talking about it. That was
yesterday. I'm talking about. You haven't even watched it yet.
That was yesterday. Convince me to.
I'm gonna give Heather my Netflix password and a VPN. So
Heather, have you watched Tiger King yet?
And now I'm gonna be on Netflix and I'm gonna be watching all sorts of crap.
But it's I don't even know if you have access. Listen, Heather, if you don't have access to it, I'll give you like a VPN to the US and I'll give you my Netflix and you can watch the Tiger King.
I do have
a US
like normal Amazon stuff, so but
Do you watch the Americans on Prime?
Say again?
Do you watch the Americans? Do you have Prime, like Prime Video?
I don't have normal stuff. I mean, I have Amazon.
Well, Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, then you get all the videos on that.
Yeah, I have Amazon for my other half.
Yeah, but it's different in Europe. Do you have an account or a European account?
It's a European account.
Yeah, they have different shows. I found that out because when I was in Italy for 2 weeks, however long ago it was, I was watching the show and I was watching it on the way back from Europe. Mm-hmm. And when I got home, I had still like 2 episodes left. And as soon as I went to log in, I couldn't watch them. And it really made me upset because I don't know how the episode ended. What's up, Mace?
Hi, Mason.
Hi.
Hi, honey.
Hello. How old are you?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm 7.
You're 7?
How old's the dog though?
The dog?
The dog.
She's a year.
The doggy's a year.
You're 7 and a dog is 1 year.
I can't see it. Pick it up.
I'm gonna say goodnight, everybody.
All right, Luke. Hey, thanks for joining us, Luke.
You're
Hopefully, you
welcome.
can
Thanks for
join us
having me.
again and chat some more. I
Luke,
really appreciate it.
Bob, like you
Everybody have a good night, everybody.
classes, can you send them
Wait,
to?
hold on.
All right. Peace.
Wait, Luke. Wait, hold on, Luke. Luke.
Yeah.
Hold on. Shannon had a question.
Yep.
No, I was just saying that you said your classes were
I
on.
can't hear.
Can you just send the.
She was asking about your classes being online. Do you have
Can you send the
Yeah,
link to
can you
Rob?
send a link in the group so people that might be interested can, maybe join some of your online classes?
Yeah, sure. Just the link here, like the live link here.
No, just put it on just go to the Facebook group. Are you on the
Okay.
Facebook group yet?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'll put it
Yeah,
there.
if not, I'll invite you and post it or just send it to me and send it to the Facebook group.
All right, cool.
All right.
Awesome. All right.
Thanks a lot, man.
Be well,
Thanks.
everybody.
All right.
Later.
Ciao.
Can you hear me, Rob?
I can hear you fine, sadly.
It's man, fuck you. So
No,
it's
I'm
funny. I feel like you drop in and out, like people can't hear you.
Can everybody else hear Shannon as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sadly. Right.
You're perfectly fine. What were you going to say, Shannon? Tonight?
No, I was just gonna say that I wanted to see his video. Like I don't do yoga, but if I watched it and like I would I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't quote unquote do yoga either, but I definitely like some of the mindfulness stuff that it tries to.
Mental discipline.
Yeah, I mean, especially now, like Rick was saying, as he's back at the house, I guess I'll mute him again, but as he was saying earlier about just the struggles that he's had and how mindfulness is going to help him. I think we all have that, Who's that? Is that? Oh, that's Maddie. Okay, I couldn't hear who that was. I think we all
No, that's amazing.
so, I think that can be helpful.
There's a cat.
Like, especially now when we're just sitting in our apartments and trying to keep
Going crazy.
Yeah, going crazy for sure.
I didn't see the presidential update today. Was there anything new and exciting?
Who's talking?
That's Beth. Can you hear her?
Can you hear me?
I can't see her move.
Oh yeah, she has all level internet connection.
Is it bad?
Yeah, we can see it now. It's just a little jumpy here and there.
Ah.
Let me see if I can find some of that latest for you. Let me see if I can share. I'll share some latest news for us all. Not my favorite site, but they have some good articles here. Once it loads, the internet doesn't really know what to do right now because everybody and their mother is on it. What is this? It moved here. All right, fine. Let's click here. Let's see what they have to say. Oh, I guess they moved it every single day. It's kind of annoying. 41,000 positive cases of coronavirus in New York.
They said 60,000 last night. Last night they said 68.
Did they? Well, this is not New York City. This is New York City, not New York State.
Ah.
North Carolina signed an order prohibiting utility shutoffs for 60 days. What does Trump say? He wouldn't have reacted to coronavirus if he wasn't impeached. It's an interesting conversation because in the middle of all of this stuff happening is when his impeachment stuff was going on. So that's just really crazy.
Hey, Rob, I know not a lot of people would be interested in this, but can you look at my parents' town in Pennsylvania really quick?
Hold on. I have to find a way to mute this because we have Trump talking. Let me just clear that because it's annoying. Go ahead, what were you saying?
If not now, at least at the end. Can you just pull up the map that you showed of cases? I just want to see my parents' county. It's in Pennsylvania. You don't have to do it now, but we could do it at the end.
No, I don't think anybody else minds seeing it.
Okay.
Where in Pennsylvania are they?
They're in Carbon County, which is it's like a little bumfuck place. The problem is, so all the New Yorkers are fleeing New York and going to Carbon County.
17 cases, 1 death.
Do we know where or no?
Where in Carbon County?
They don't show where they.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't say here. I could do a little bit more research, but it's not sure.
If you get a chance and you're tomorrow, can you
Give
look
the
at
demographics of the dead guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll do a little bit of Googling for you.
Thanks, hon.
You got it.
So
We're
what
actually,
would you
me and someone I work with are doing we're trying to put together some analytics and like, so if you guys, if you see any good sources of data where you can easily either scrape the screen to get it, or if it's a web service or online databases, just let me know, because I'm looking for that.
Yeah,
What does
here.
scrape the screen mean?
Here's an interesting
It's like
one.
when you have like a program that pulls up a web page and takes the data from the web page to put into a database.
Oh.
Here's a really interesting one. I don't know if you care about this. This is the United States of America. These are projections from this group. It's the hospital. I don't know if you know what it is. International Hospital something group. Health data projections. This was an interesting one, right? So this shows, based on the United States, this is showing, this is the beds that are expected to be needed in the entire U.S. So this shows where the peak is supposed to be based off of their statistical model. So they're saying that April 15th is when the peak is going to be. You can see like the purple dotted line is showing kind of the median, if you will, like what their expectation is, but then the purple shaded area is high and low. So this is saying in April 15th, they're expecting 220,000 beds being needed, 26,000 ventilators being needed, and 32,000 ICU beds, right?
Say goodbye to that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's here in the U.S. Now, if you look at like, this is the kind of the death rate, and I know Rick, you and I have been talking about how this has been, what the doubling rate has been.
Yeah.
But again, they're saying April 15th is expected to be the peak. They're expecting 2,200 deaths per day, give or take, 106 and 3,321. But you can see if you look at like how this curve, we keep talking about this idea of flattening the curve. This curve flattens out. So right now we're like right around 500. They're not expecting it to be around 500 again until like May 20th, May 21st.
Wow.
So, we've got,
all right. I'm leaving because Roxanne's in with the family, so I gotta go.
All right, go ahead. We'll
Bye.
I'll talk to you. All right, see you tomorrow.
All right, ciao.
See ya.
So Rick, this is some data sources that are mapped pretty well.
I would love to have a link to that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's healthdata.covid19 health.healthdata.org. Here's like, they even show you, the death projections. You can see, the median deaths, end up somewhere around 83,000, but it could go anywhere between 36 and 152. I think some of the results I saw just for the U.S. was between 100 and 200.
That's cumulative. Well, yeah, I guess that one's cumulative, right? And the other one was.
Yeah, so you can see it kind of starts.
Per day.
I joked around when this thing first started and said we'll be celebrating our freedom on July 4th. It looks like when this really flattens out.
Wow.
If you look at this, Rick, you can download this data right here. So if you want to grab that, you can.
I definitely want that. But do they have it by region?
This is just the United States. They do break it down by state as well.
Because I think beds are pretty regional.
Yeah. So if you look at New York, so here's what New York says, right? Hospital resources. The green line is the ICU beds available. So again, if we look at the peak, They're saying the peak for New York is April 9th. It says all beds needed projected are 73,000 approximately. Could be anywhere between 43 and 98. Only 13,000 beds are available. They're saying ICU beds needed is projected to be around 11,000. So between 600 and 11,609. But there's only 719 ICU beds available. So you can see New York is going to get bad real fast.
Wow.
So you were an EMT. So I've the one, like, I'm only looking at numbers and trying to project, you know, the spread and deaths and economic consequences. Like, what do they do once they put these people in the beds? Like, what do they do at the hospital that you can't do at home?
That's a really good question. I'm actually going to show you. Give me a second, and I'll show you a resource. If you're a geek like me, hold on, let me find this for you. This guy is a physician.
I'm dropping off. Night, guys.
We'll see you later, Shannon.
See you tomorrow.
All right, bye-bye. So let me share this page with you. Hold on one second. So this guy has a really great course that's available for free. It's medcram.com/courses/mechanical-ventilation-explain-clearly. It's a free course. It walks you through. It's actually, you can actually get continuing education credits. But it actually walks you through the whole process of mechanical ventilation, from just the different types of mechanical ventilation all the way through how mechanical ventilation relates to the coronavirus. So you can see section 1 covers these things. And it talks about, you know, vent changes for ARDS, which is what we have, acute respiratory distress syndrome. That's basically what people end up coming down with from coronavirus. So it talks about like how they're even going to set up the ventilator. But to answer your question, so this is a really cool course. If you're a geek like me, go through this course. It really explains how to use a ventilator. I mean, I knew some of it just from my paramedic days, but it's a really cool course. If you want to go check it out.
So the ventilator part, and I'm not sure if this is an accurate statistic because it, you know, is word of mouth.
Yeah.
But I heard somewhere that it's a very small percentage of people that need it, and a very small percentage of people that it's successful for.
Both are true. The problem with the ventilators is that, like, normally with some of the last, like with what was it, like, not MERS, what was the other one? The
SARS.
You would need, like, even for, like, for example, with if you get like the flu really bad and you need a vent for like 3 days. The problem with this is you need a vent for like 5 weeks.
Oh.
So, you know, if you get put on a vent here, that vent is assigned to you for 5 to 6 weeks. And if you look at, I'm trying to stay positive. But you know, if you look at a lot of the vent statistics in Italy, if you get put on a vent, it's really about a 50-50 chance you come off of that vent and survive. Maybe less.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why bother?
Well, why bother?
Hey, still 50% you might live.
Yeah, I mean.
But what's the percentage of people that need it, and what's that demographic? I'm trying to understand. Like, ventilators, I guess they can ship, right? Beds they can't ship, but everybody has one at home. So I'm trying to understand why.
Yeah, but ventilation is something that you need a highly trained person to manage that. Although I did see a really interesting video. There's this company. I should try and find it for you guys. So ventilators are mechanical ventilation, right? There's this thing that we do, even as EMTs or medics. It's called BVMs, bag valve masks. So when you intubate somebody, you stick a little I'm sure you've seen it on TV shows. You like squeeze this bag, and that ventilates the patient, right? Not nearly as good as a ventilator, but there's these two things I've seen recently. One is people are printing out these things that you can connect to ventilators to be able to ventilate 2 patients or maybe even 4 patients off of one ventilator, which is kind of weird, but it's a crazy time. So I think the FDA is actually looking at making that something available. But there's this other thing. I should find the video for it. I'll try and look for it real quick in a minute if you guys can talk for a second, where it's like there's a bag valve mesh that like sits in this like contraption, and there's this wheel that comes down and like presses on it and then releases it. It's like a wheel that turns and presses, and then there's a space in the wheel where it releases, and then it presses and then it releases to kind of act as manual ventilation using a bag valve mask. It's kind of crazy.
You didn't answer my question.
What was your question?
Because they're talking about ventilators and beds. Those are the two major resources that they're whining about. The ventilators I get for the portion of the population that need it, but it sounds like it's a small portion. So the two questions I have is, one is, how many people actually need a ventilator and what's their demographic? But the more important question is, what are they doing with all the beds for the people that don't need a ventilator? Are they just bringing the fever down, like something you could do at home? Give you some Tylenol and put you in an ice bath?
I don't know. It's a good question. I think if you are put in ICU, it's because you're on a vent. This would actually be a great question. I'm trying to get a doctor to join us later on this week to talk about these specific things. Again, I'm not a physician.
Okay.
Here, I found this article. I'm gonna share it with you. This is Beth's and Maddie's father. He just joined. What's up, Danny? How you been?
Hi, Dad.
Hello.
So let me see if I can find some of this all together. So let's look at this. So in this paper, they did 52 people were admitted to the ICU, 22 required mechanical ventilation, 86% of them died.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts. Let's see. So,
Wait, and how many needed that? How many? What was the percentage that needed ventilators?
Harmful bacteria just below the line. Crest gum detoxify. Voted product of the year. It works below the gum line.
The percentage that needed the ventilator?
Hold on, I'm going back to it. So, what is the mortality rate of patients who require mechanical ventilations? Anywhere between 25 and 70%. Hold on, let's see. Probably the best published information so far is from Intensive Care National Audit and Research Center of the UK. Of 165 patients admitted to the ICUs, 80% or 49%, 79 patients died. Of the 98 who received advanced respiratory support, which is invasive ventilation, BPAP or CPAP, or ET tube or tracheotomy or whatever, 66% died. That's crazy.
So basically, you go to ICU,
you're dead.
You're dead.
Compared to the 36% mortality rate of non-COVID patients receiving advanced respiratory support in 2017 to 2019. So that's just to show you the difference, right? If you were sick with this, everybody asked the question like, oh, it's the same as the flu, or yeah, if you had something that bad that you needed mechanical ventilation, there was only a 36% mortality rate. Now we're talking about a 66% mortality rate. It's like, what is that? Almost twice the number.
Yeah.
So it's much more intense. But
yeah,
I'm still trying to, what I'm trying to understand is, okay, like, say for example, they just had a bed for those people who need a ventilator. How many beds would that be? Because it seems like I don't know what the other treatment is, but they're not mentioning what the other treatment is.
There isn't one.
Say again?
There isn't one.
So then, like, why why go to if you don't? So for those who don't need a ventilator, why do they need a bed? Why can't they just stay at home and sit in a nice bath, do the Wim Hof method, you know, and take some Tylenol? Like, that's the part that I'm not getting is what the is it one bed per ventilator? Because it sounded like the number of beds. Oh, it is.
You mean you're asking like how many hospital beds are there versus how many people will be put on a ventilator?
Yeah, because it seems to me that the only purpose to go to the hospital is to get on the ventilator.
That's a good question.
I imagine they can also keep you hydrated and things like that more than you can at home.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. These are great questions if we can get the physician to join us tomorrow.
Yeah, because I'm wondering if you could, for the hydration part, you could have it do it yourself IV.
I mean, do it
Most
yourself
people
IV.
are,
or even ship an IV. You tested positive. I mean, it's a bag with a needle.
Yeah. Have you ever been trained on how to give an IV?
No, but I mean, we've got YouTube. I mean, these are dire circumstances.
We do have YouTube. Hey, talk amongst yourselves for a minute because my daughter's calling me. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Hey, unmute Dad. Is it Rick or Rich?
Rick, Richard, Rick.
Okay.
Anything but Rich, or Ricky.
Dad, you're muted. I wanted to talk about you coming from Florida. The other guy on here went down to Florida from New York. You have to turn off your TV or mute it.
I'm sorry.
Wait, is there an active shooter situation?
No. It's NCIS. Mike's watching it.
Oh my God. Oh, we had the world.
There's no everybody's hiding. There's no active shooter.
What are they going to shoot up, right? Oh, you got.
Right.
Hijacking ventilator trucks.
So what are you thinking? Are you going to stay down there longer?
I think what we want to do, since it's not bad, when I say that, not bad here yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to wait for you guys to peak up there. Once you're over your peak, which could be in 2 weeks, then decide what we want to do as far as coming up.
That's smart.
We're just gonna wait for that wave to get over to Philadelphia, and that could be 2 weeks from now. Versus, I said let's look at it next week, but let's wait. I think that's what I want to do.
Okay.
Sounds like I'm going to be driving into the problem. It's not as bad here yet, but they said it could be because all the folks are coming in from New York and Louisiana from New Orleans.
Mm.
So, but I think we'll still be okay. I think it's going to hit the nursing homes.
Yeah, definitely. I guess we really should talk about a contingency plan, though, if you get it, because you're going to need to take care of yourself.
Yeah. So we got, Mike can get over to Ghetto's house, worst case, or she can go over to our good friend's house.
I was going to say, maybe Stephanie's a better.
Yeah.
So I need to clean these bottles for that.
Yeah.
Well, let's pray that doesn't happen.
Right. Well, we're behaving. We're not really. We're doing that, 6 feet thing, and we're wiping everything down, and we're really, really behaving. I mean, we only walk in our little community and then a little bit on the trail when there's nobody around.
Okay, good.
Yeah. No, we've been behaving because it would not be good for Mike because everything she gets ends up in her chest.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes with her. But I mean, I put gloves. I have lightweight gloves that I open the mail with. Discard the outer packaging. I went 50% electronic mail, maybe even more now.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we're the Amazon boxes that show up. I put gloves on. I sprayed a knife. I cut the box and I get rid of the box right away, and then I wipe down the packaging.
Okay.
So we're super careful here. I look at it when I had to work in Stryker when we thought everything was contaminated. In other words, bugs would grow into our product and we'd have to throw the product out. So we had to be squeaky clean. So I'm taking that approach.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just worried about driving right up in the heat of it, right in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's fair. What is this that they're talking about it making a resurgence in the fall?
What's that?
Did you hear that it might come back in the fall? What is that about?
That's just a bug that goes into hibernation. It's like a mosquito. It goes into hibernation, then the eggs pop out again in the springtime. So it would have to go into hibernation and then come back out. Because evidently it doesn't like the heat. So more than likely, when it gets summertime up there, you'll have less of it because it can't live on surfaces.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I heard India's doing well for that reason.
Right.
Because they have such dry heat.
Yeah, so as soon as that heat gets up there, like here, it won't survive very well. It doesn't like heat. So it's going to go hide somewhere, and then in the fall, when it cools down, it might pop up, just like the flu. Just, 10 times worse.
Yeah,
like I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's our plans here. Just hang tight for about 2 more weeks and see what's going on.
Yeah, because you normally come back up here, don't you?
Yeah, we would be planning our trip back like this week with the auto train, and we're definitely not taking the auto train.
Yeah.
That's a no-no. That's real close quarters.
You gonna have Matt come and drive you?
That's an option. That's an option because we don't want to stop.
Yeah.
We want to go nonstop because they say they clean the hotels, but do they really clean the hotels?
No.
We've been in enough of them.
I don't even know how many hotels are open anymore.
Well, that's the other part too, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I wish you'd just stay up here when you get up here. Get comfortable with that idea.
They want us to stay.
I think
Mike's laughing. She goes, "No fucking way! It's cold. You guys had a very warm. Can I curse on this thing? I don't think so.
Yeah, you're good. Don't worry
You
about
guys had a very mild winter, though.
Yeah. So this
All
upcoming
things
winter is probably bad.
If anything, we'd have to go hide for January, February. So I was listening to
Thank
Go
God
to
for
an
global
island,
warming.
man. That's where I'm going to
Yeah,
go.
thank God for global warming, right, Rick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody was mad about it.
Yeah.
Now they want it.
Now they'll kill the
Yet
big.
another
Screw
way that
those
Trump
polar
has
bears.
saved us.
Screw those polar bears. So you guys are talking about ventilators. So the minimum experience I have with them is you got to be sedated. Otherwise you'll pull that tube out, right?
Oh yeah.
Rob?
Yeah.
After all your EMT days?
Yes, sucks no choline, baby. It's the
So there's no
Versed and sucks. That's all you need.
Yeah.
One paralyzes you, one puts you to sleep. One time on the helicopter, we just gave the guy the paralytic, and he was completely conscious, but he couldn't move because we picked him up from the jail. Can you imagine, like being paralyzed but conscious?
Yeah, you can blink your eyes and not do anything. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but you have a tendency of pulling those ventilator tubes out of you. So they have to sedate you.
Yep.
The second thing is that New York's going to, there's such a black market out there, you know that. So stuff's going out the back door to the highest bidder.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So the ventilators, with the ventilators, you want to go, they're talking about two per one ventilator, 2 patients.
Yeah.
That's tricky by itself.
Yeah, that is freaky, isn't
because
it?
Yeah, so you have to like pick the one that's, you almost have to marry the one that's like breathing the same rates and everything, because if you have one that's breathing slower, one's bringing faster, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, it depends on the setting, because there's some settings for ventilators. If you go watch that video I was showing you, some settings for ventilators are like patient, like when the patient wants to breathe, it feeds the patient oxygen, and some are more
the smarter, the smarter ones.
Yeah, some of them are more about this. We feed you oxygen when we want you to breathe.
So, and I'm sure like Ford is not building the fancier ones. They're building like the basic ones, I would assume, just to get them out there.
Sure. That's a good question. I can't imagine it takes too much to be able to make it through the different settings you can have. But that's a good question. These companies that are like mass producing them, which ones are they making? That's a great question. And these are
Can you 3D print one?
Well, they're 3D printing those things that give you the ability to support 2 or 4 patients. They're like little adapter ports. It's crazy.
Right.
That is cool.
I mean, they're getting ingenious about it. You got to, moving forward with the vaccinations and all that.
Yeah, well, the vaccinations are going to be sometime. I mean, that's going to be another year.
That's a year out. That's a year, definitely. That's fast track in the fast track.
Yeah, that's
like
you worked in pharma.
Pull all the stops out.
Yeah, you worked in pharma before, didn't you?
Yeah.
No, Danny did. Danny worked in pharma. So, did you work in manufacturing?
Both R&D and manufacturing.
Right. So you know what it takes to get something,
from I just a simple drug takes a zillion years. These life-saving vaccinations, under normal circumstances, 5-7 years.
Yeah, but I mean the FDA is fast tracking everything right now.
Yeah, well, Trump said do it.
Right.
I mean, I think Johnson & Johnson just put up $1 billion.
Yep.
Today.
They're shooting for $1 billion
to get their drug. Yeah. No, $1 billion also to keep moving this drug forward.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got like how you start off with 100 patients for vaccinations. Well, they're starting off like with 1,000, and then they're just going to, 1,000 can turn into 5,000, 10,000, and all that.
Yeah, the one thing I keep thinking of is like, I don't know that we're going to be allowed. I mean, I don't know. I'm not the president, but I can't imagine how we'll be allowed out of lockdown until we actually start doing testing for the antibodies. And
Right.
so, like, you know, the thing that I was talking to Rick about was, you know, at some point in time, there's got to be a way to track it. So I might have to have an app on my phone that I can prove, that's my daughter, that, you know, that I have tested for the antibodies and I'm clear, right? So if you own a restaurant or a retail,
it might.
everybody that works there is going to have to test clear for the antibodies, whether it's because you got the disease and you recovered, or whether it's because you got a vaccine and you're now clear, in order to be able to actually get this moving again. Because I don't know, that's my thought. If we just start letting people back out there in a month, it's just going to go again.
You're going to have a couple that's going to slip through the cracks, and it's going to start all over again.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so, but have they confirmed
I
yet?
think they have a little bit of a surge back in China now.
Well, and I don't even believe any of
Yeah.
this is coming out of China. What'd you say, Rick?
Have they confirmed the reinfection rate that the antibodies don't last?
Yeah. So no. So there's a couple of things. The first thing is, if you're just testing for positive, negative on the coronavirus, the test isn't super accurate. So you can actually test to have the coronavirus or not have the coronavirus and then have the coronavirus, which it's just because
false positive.
Yeah, the false positive. Yeah, the false negatives, because the tests aren't super accurate.
Right.
But for antibodies, it's different. So the tests for antibodies are pretty accurate. If you have the antibody, you have the antibody. And so that's the one that nobody's even started to talk about, like testing for the antibodies. Right now, they're just like, let's identify who has it and segment them. But we're going to have to quickly move to the phase where we're testing who actually has the antibodies. Because, you know, there's all this conversation about everybody who got sick back in January. Was that the coronavirus?
Right.
Nobody knows. So if we can start testing
too early
scale for antibodies and finding a way to be able to, like, say, like, you know, Rick's got the antibodies, Beth's got the antibodies, that means that they're allowed back in the world. They can go back to work. They're not going to give it to anybody. They're not going to be able to get it. That's how I believe.
Yeah, but the presumption is that the antibodies last, because I read somewhere that they haven't confirmed that this is like other viruses.
What I was looking at was that they want to test it twice. So you test for the antibodies 2 times, because you could test the first time and actually still be infected, but not yet have the antibodies. So you know, you have to be careful with it, because it has to not be an active infection. You have to have antibodies in your system to the point where, like, you've recovered. Whether it's through,
I mean, my take on it is, if you can only get it, if they can confirm that you can only get it once, right?
Yeah.
And they do release everyone at some point. I think they might as well anyway, because if you can only get it once, eventually it will saturate. It's a geometric progression. That's what's going to happen. They can slow it down a little bit. And the thing is like,
by keeping us at home.
Yeah, and he was bragging last night that they went from a doubling rate of 3 days to almost 6. It's like, for an exponential progression, what does that gain? You know.
Well, what it gains is the ability to not overwhelm the ICUs, so people don't.
But does it?
Yeah.
3 days to 6 days.
Oh, yeah.
So in other words, right now we're at. So they said 60,000. You said 40,000 New York, right? So times the 128 for, you know, because it's 40,000 confirmed, right? Times the ones that are not presenting enough to end up at the hospital and get tested, right? Times the 2 weeks, right? So really, it's that 40,000 times the 128 that we talked about, right? So they're in the millions. They're at about 1 million, right? And so, in order for New York City to completely saturate, they have to get from 1 million to 9 million, right? Which is 4 more doubles, right? So, okay, so they've stretched it out from 3 times 4, which is 12 days, to 6 times 4, which is 24 days. How many respirators and beds are they going to produce in that extra 24 minus extra 12 days that destroying our entire economy has gained them? That's my question.
Yeah, that's like advanced level math that I can't keep up with.
No, I mean, so they say they're saying 20% of the cases are presenting bad enough that you need to go to the hospital and get tested, right? So that means multiply that, take those out of the population.
Yeah.
Take those out of the population, assuming you can only get it once and that they're going to get segmented out until they're good to go, right? So that means multiply that number by 4, and that's how many active cases there are that are beyond incubation, right? Because it's 20%, so you have the other 80%. So multiply by 4, and you've got the active ones that are beyond incubation, right? But it's contagious during incubation, right? So you've got 2 to 3 weeks, they said, usually 2, but 2 to 3 weeks of incubation. Let's be, I always, take pessimistic estimates. Let's say 2 weeks, right? So that's at a rate of 3 doubling rates, or 3 days to double the population. That's 5 doubles, right, in those 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2 to the 5th. It's 32, right? Times the other 4, which makes it 128. So for all the cases that they are pointing out as confirmed cases, there are 128 people who are contagious.
That nobody knows about.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, which is evident by the conversations we've had with Johnny and Justin, who are people that have coronavirus but haven't even been tested.
Yeah, and so the thing is what they're gonna hit saturation in terms of
they're gonna hit saturation and not even know it.
Yeah,
right. Which is why you need to be testing for the antibodies.
In 24 days from last night.
That what you really think?
Yeah.
How so?
And when I say and actually, well, the thing is it slows down naturally. That's the other thing is they're bragging about how they've slowed the curve by enforcing this isolation.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is the more people that are infected,
the less people can infect.
The less people there are to infect.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't mean people take my argument of this as like I'm being negative or I'm not complying, but the thing is it really doesn't make sense. Like we've literally destroyed our economy, our whole economy, to get 12 days. What are they doing with the 12 days? That's what I want to know. Because where are
you getting the 12 days from? That's what I don't understand.
Okay, so in New York, Cuomo's bragging that this isolation has slowed it down. They're always talking about flattening the curve.
Yeah.
He's bragging that they've slowed down the doubling rate from 3 to 6. Right. So they've cut.
I haven't seen that in New York yet, but I'll have to look at it.
Yeah, that's what he said in the press conference. And yeah, I don't know. I haven't fact checked that on Johns Hopkins. But if that's true, I don't really think that's much to brag about because, okay, so how many times do you have to double to saturate at 3 days? You need 12 more days, because if we're at 1 million now, to get to 8 million, right, is 2 to the 3rd, right? So that's 3 doubles, right, times so 9 days. So about 9 days, yeah. So 3 doubles times 3 days. 9 days, right? So you're saying they slowed it to 6.
That's the thing. I don't know that we're at 1 million yet. You're making
40,000 times the 128.
Okay, what's that number?
I don't know. I did it for 60 last night, and it was over 1 million.
So 40,000 times 128.
Yeah. I mean, 10,000 times 100.
Yeah, that's a lot more than 1 million.
Yeah.
Well, how are you getting the 128 number?
So presuming that you isolate the confirmed cases and they're not infecting anyone else, which is strong presumption, but like I said, I'm estimating against my theory, right? So that means there are those other 80% are beyond the incubation period. They're presenting, but not presenting enough to have to go in and get tested. Right.
You're saying 80. So you're saying right now, 20% are presenting, 80% are not.
20% are severe, 80% are mild.
Yeah, but that number is growing over time. That's not 80-20 of the current population of New York.
It's at any given snapshot. They're saying that 20% of the cases are severe.
Okay, so right. So if you look at the number of severe cases right now, what are you saying? That's 40,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
So is that what the number is in New York City?
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's, and I don't know if it's New York City or New York State, but so if 40,000 is 20% of what number?
Exactly. So multiply it by multiply by 5 to get that number. But I'm being generous in saying that they're going to be responsible and isolate
200,000 people. So they're saying. So you're saying that there's 200,000 people that currently have the disease.
That are beyond incubation.
Well, what do you mean beyond incubation?
So that 20% represents the people who are severely presenting enough to get tested, right? The other 80% are the mild cases who are presenting. They have it, like they're past incubation period.
Currently. So right now, so based off of those numbers, if the 80-20 rule applies, currently 40,000 people have a severe case, 200,000 people do not. So that's a total of 240,000 people. Of what's the population of New York? 8 million?
No. Yeah, 200,000 total because you multiplied by 5 instead of 4.
Right. You're right.
So 160,000.
160,000 people have it. 40,000 people have a significant number. Have it in a
200,000 have it. 40,000 of them are severe.
Right.
160,000 are not.
Right. So, but the population of Manhattan is what it's. I mean, it's not just
9 million.
It's the whole New York metropolitan area, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, because you live in New Jersey. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the New York metro population is 20.1 million people.
That's true.
Long Island, parts of Connecticut. That's what the New York metro population is.
That's true.
So
okay, so
20.1 million people. So right now, that's like, what is that, 10%?
Well, this is the point, right? To get from the 10 million that I was just calling saturation, just as a round number of New York City.
Oh, okay. So you're
New
saying
York City proper.
Okay.
To get from that to the 20 million is one doubling period. 3 days. Oh, we lowered it to 6.
Okay, but all right. So, but right now you're saying there's 200,000 people infected, and the doubling period of that is what, every 3 to 4 days?
It was. He's claiming he's reduced it to 6,
Okay,
and he's claiming that matters.
All right. So, all right, but hold on. So in 6 days, that's 400,000 people, right?
Yep.
And in 12 days, that's 800,000 people. And in 18 days, that's 1.6 million. And what's
no.
I'm sorry.
You're going by infected.
Right.
You're going by active.
Right. Hold on, let me do that again. So we're talking 200,000 people. But actually, here, let me share my screen so I can do this math and people can watch me. All right. So there we go. So we're at 200,000 people today. That's what we're guessing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now since they're now presenting, right? The minimum that they've had it, they're saying is 2 weeks incubation.
Well, but we're just going to go off of what they have today.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Well, what's the doubling period?
3 days.
Right. So in 3 days, it's going to be 400,000.
That's not what we're trying to calculate. We're trying to calculate how many people are contagious.
Well, I'm looking for saturation.
Right. So you have to know how many people are infected, not how many people are active.
No, but 200. Well, okay. All right. So you're saying 200,000 people are active, but there's actually a higher percentage that are infected.
So if you have 200,000 people that are active, it means that they were infected 2 weeks ago minimum.
Okay. So you're trying to say, well, I don't know about 2 weeks ago minimum, because I think it's only a 3-day, it's as early as a 3-day incubation period.
Oh, what
and
I saw
remember,
was
you're calculating 200,000 based off of the 40,000 that are currently testing positive.
Right.
You could test positive anywhere between a couple of days and 2 weeks, right?
Well, okay. So then what I heard, and if I'm wrong, then yeah, we'll redo it. Is that the incubation period before you would present, from the time that you're first infected until then, is 2 to 3 weeks, closer to 2.
No, it's anywhere between two days and 14 days, something along those lines. Some people are presenting early. Some people are not presenting early, and I don't know what the difference is there.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge difference. So yeah, so like we should fact check that, because if that's accurate, then yeah, it's more dispersed, the probability curve. But yeah, I saw 2 to 3 weeks though. Can you look it up now?
I'm looking it up right now. Hold on, let me share my screen.
I'm sitting here chain smoking like a friggin' moron.
Yeah, I know. Seriously. All right, here we go. All right. Yeah, see, look, I'm 1 in 14 days. Most commonly around 5 days.
Wait, can you? Here, let me.
Can you see my screen?
I'm gonna try and blow it up.
Period means the time between catching the virus and beginning to have symptoms of the disease. Most estimates of the incubation period range from 1 to 14 days, most commonly around 5 days.
Oh, all right. So let's say 5 then.
That's from the WHO.
All right. If that's accurate, okay.
Okay.
So let's reassess then. So 5 days. Let's say 5 days is the average, right?
Let's just say 6 days, just for even numbers, right? So
exactly.
It's doubled twice since where we are. So realistically, we're here.
Right? Okay, that's a little better.
So realistically, we're at 800,000 people infected.
Yeah.
Right? As of right now.
So
right?
Now, yeah, so to get to, you said 20 million?
Yeah, 20 million in the New York metropolitan area. So that's another week. No. So, hold on. Wait, hold on. I'm not keeping count.
I'm on 3.
Hold on. We're saying we're at 200,000. We're saying it's an incubation period of 2 weeks. That's week 1. That's
Well,
week
don't worry
2.
about the incubation period. Just keep multiplying by 2.
So hold on. So we're saying that right now we have 800,000 people that have it, right? Right now. So in 3 days, oh shit. God damn it.
So just go times 2?
Times 2. In 3 days, it's going to be 1.6.
Or 6, depending upon what he says. But in one doubling period,
I'm just saying every 3. I'm just saying
that's fine. But I'm counting doubling periods.
Oh,
because
so
we want to do for 3 and 6.
6 days is doubling period, or every 3 days?
No, I'm saying it doesn't matter how many days. It just matters that it doubled.
Right, but we have to.
Trust me.
Let's just say it's 4 days, just for shits and giggles.
It doesn't matter how many days.
Okay, fine.
That's what I'm saying. Like once it
but
doubles.
I'm trying to project like when we hit saturation.
So right, so we need X number of doubling periods to hit saturation.
Okay, so we need one. So one set is 1.6. 2 sets of doubling periods is 3.2.
Perfect.
3 is 6.4. 4 is 12. 5. So we need 5 doubling periods.
Right. So the difference would be 5 times 3 days versus 5 times 6 days.
Right. So 15 days.
So it's 15 days versus 30.
Versus 30 days. So somewhere between 15 and 30 days.
Yeah. So if all this effort and going out of control and panicking has had any effect, it's been to slow it down for 2 weeks. What are we doing with that $1 trillion for that 2 weeks to make it worth it?
Well, I think the point is that we're trying to make it so that we don't have an onslaught of people in the ICU.
But we still will. It's just going to happen 2 weeks later, because unless in that 2 weeks they can produce a gazillion respirators and beds.
I mean, I don't know about that. It's more about, I mean, here's the problem, right? Because you're right. If you're going to be on a respirator for a month, doesn't matter. If it starts now, or if it starts in 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now, you're still SOL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a complete waste. And that's why I've been saying, what they should do is, what do you call it? You familiar with Burning Man?
Yeah.
We need to have a Burning Man. Get everybody together in a stadium or all in the same place.
And just everybody get infected and die.
At the same time. Yeah. So that we all get over it at the same time.
I don't think that's right, because the problem, so if we're saying 1 out of 2 people that get put on a vent survive.
Yeah, but how many people actually end up needing to get put on a vent to begin with? And then of them, how many does it actually work for? So let's calculate that. Right? And then calculate how many more vents they can create in that 2 weeks to see what we got for our trillion.
All right, let's look at it. I'm trying to look. They've been saying
it's definitely less than 20%, right?
Earlier on, I was seeing it was like, I think it was like 1 million people are going to need a ventilator.
You can't do it that way. It's got to be a percentage, because like if they can just make up any number, but we know it's less than 20%.
No,
right? Because only 20% are severe enough to even get tested. So 20%, the maximum it could possibly be is 20% times the 20 million. So which would be 5 million. We're going to make 5 million ventilators in 2 weeks?
No.
Even with $1 trillion, we can't do it.
No.
If they took that trillion and just used it to make ventilators, right, instead of giving it out, giving me my $1,600 check that I don't need.
You don't need, but I could use it.
Well,
I'm not going to
get what I'm saying, though.
I'm not going
to instead of toilet paper, maybe they should make the ventilators. But the point is,
right, here you go. Hold on. Here's what you're looking for. Hold on, let me share it.
Coronavirus happy hour. I love it.
That's what the name of it is. All right, so hold on. Let's see. I'm looking for numbers because it was here a second ago. Wait. Where the hell did it go?
While you're doing that, I'm just going to float and mention that.
Oh, here we go. Hold on.
Okay.
While most COVID-19 patients recover on their own, approximately 5 to 10% will need ventilators.
Okay. So let's be pessimistic and say 10%. That's 2 million of the 20 million in the metropolitan area.
Right.
Wait, 20%.
So that means 1 million people die.
Wait, 10%, 2 million. Yeah, 2 million.
Right. The eventual number of U.S. COVID-19 patients remained unknown, but at least 1 million reportedly may soon require these machines. New York State alone will need 30,000 ventilators, but currently only has 7,000.
I don't know where they got the number.
Of 30,000?
Yeah.
Let's see.
We just came up with 2 million.
Well, that's because they're saying New York. New York specifically is what, 8 million people? Yeah, I don't know where they're getting 30,000 ventilators, because if they're saying 5 to 10% will need ventilators, wait, hold on. While most patients recover, 5 to 7% will need ventilators. So if we're going with the 80-20 rule, and if we just look at New York people, New York City is 8.6 million people. Right? Can you see my?
So about.
So if
So times 0.2 to find out how many people are severe.
Well, no, but it's only, what is it? What are they saying? Like 60 to 70% of the people will get coronavirus?
Oh yeah, they're going straight to the 10%. You're right.
Right. So what percent will get it? 60%?
They said 10% need ventilators.
That's of people who will get it. So how many people will actually get it? Oh, I'm losing you.
I need to sound come back.
I'm losing you, buddy.
I don't know if you can hear me, but
I'm hearing you, but not hearing you. Are you there? Hello? Well, I think we might have lost them. Okay, well, I guess we won't continue to argue about what percent of people will actually get this disease. Hopefully none. That's not going to be the case. Anyway, we will continue to try and have a conversation with a physician this later on this week. Maybe he can shed some more light besides me and Rick, just trying to have some conversations around it. Hold on, looks like he might be trying to join again. If he joins in the next couple of seconds, I'll keep going. Otherwise, I'll just take this conversation offline. But again, I appreciate everybody joining. It's been about 3 hours now, this broadcast. Please share this with your friends, this group, our Facebook channel, like, subscribe, share, all of those fun things. This is a very kind of informal thing we're just doing for people to connect with people. So, we would like to try and get more guests and increase this community. We want you to be a part of this. This is not an internet show. I am not famous. This is just people talking to people. You can see I'm just sitting in my apartment. So please invite others. When you're joining these broadcasts every day at 6 p.m., join in on the conversation. We want to hear your stories. We want to hear, what's going on in your life. And we want to connect you with other people throughout the world. We've got people from all around the world joining us now. So that's amazing. Again, thank you for joining us. Tomorrow we will have Joe Narkin, who's going to be talking a little bit more positively around just how we can kind of overcome some of this. So I hope to see you tomorrow. And until then, have a great evening. Thank you very much. And we will see you soon. As one of my favorite people used to say, Art Bell, good night, America.